Okay.
It's regular physical.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope we always do. But before we get started, I got to tell you, I'm not the one that's important. My name is just Raheem. But we have Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Captain Leonard, I wake up this morning to some news, man, and got a heavy heart, brother.
What's that, brother?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. A legend in the game passed away yesterday.
Yes, indeed.
A
Good
legend,
guy.
yes,
Good
sir.
guy.
Mr. Simon, baby.
Yeah, I remember
I can't say it like. Mm-hmm.
when I used to go to parties that
Mm-hmm.
he would host,
Yeah.
and we
Mm-hmm.
would have
Exactly.
such a good time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Such a good time. He's a good guy. I met him on a couple occasions.
Yeah, man. And everybody out here talk about it. They say they're gonna do something on the radio this morning. I saw Frank Ski. He was talking about it too, and you could tell him and Frank Ski was very close. Now, Simon, baby, he was with what's the other guy that he was with for a long time?
I'm not really sure because I just listened to him mostly on his single shows
Mm-hmm.
that he would do and the
Exactly.
parties that he would host.
Mm-hmm. That was
And
a
that's what I enjoyed is the radio. Now I wasn't very friendly with him. It was just, hey man, just funny. Like say for instance, if you get somewhere earlier to a party,
mm-hmm.
if you've been go to a party where there's a real host
Yeah.
and he
Mm-hmm.
keeps you engaged and he walks around, he talks and hangs out, makes fun with the people.
Mm-hmm.
He gave a
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine her nickname Legs when
Yeah.
we would go to a party and what have you. But he was a nice guy, man, and he was just so funny and entertaining. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure people can attribute to the fact that, especially when you got in a traffic situations
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, it was cool to take some of that stress away and listen to Sideman,
Yeah. Made
man.
it easy. Made
Yeah, he
it
took away the stress, man.
easy. And that's amazing, man. Take something like that because you know how traffic get down here, man.
Oh
You'll sit
man.
still. You'll sit still for a minute.
Oh yeah, and get frustrated and everything. But man, if
hmm
you go and pick up Sideman, listen to him, he'll make put you in a better mood. He would always put you in a better mood.
hmm And so, man, yeah, we lost one. We lost one, man. I don't know what the situation was, and how he passed. I really don't know, but rest in peace, brother.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
all I say. Rest in peace. Um, we still fighting the situation, Leonard. Russia and the whole. Good morning, Kevin. I'm sorry about that. Good morning, Kevin. Cookson. Good to have you this morning. What's going on with the situation, Leonard? I know you got your eyes and ears on it, man. What's happening with this whole Russia
Man,
situation?
war is war. I look at it from the point of view as if, okay, if the crazy guy was the president over here, we'd be dealing with him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's another crazy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the people wisen up and he fails.
Mm-hmm.
And he is no longer in position in Russia because at this point, I think his I'm not going to even say popularity where in Russia, but a grave mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grave mistake. And it
Mm-hmm.
looks very, very suspicious of, but it's not hid from that point of view. Putin
Mm-hmm.
has deceived people for quite some time. We
Yes.
don't know how he keep getting elected.
Mm. We know.
Hmm.
It seems
But
seem kind of
when he was
suspect.
he was this sound familiar when he was first elected, he appointed a guy as prime minister, and the prime minister pretty much stood up in parliament and then not parliament. but in their form of government, and said, we're just going to go along with whatever
Mm.
Mr. Putin does. We're behind him 100%.
Wow.
So there's really no longer a need for us to make decisions.
Mm-hmm. He's in charge.
He's in charge, and whatever he says is going to be good for us.
Mm.
No dissent tolerated. Okay?
That's
So
scary, brother.
so hopefully, like we see, the people around the world have turned against him, just as
Mm-hmm.
they should. Just like the people of the world turned against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
These men are not to say that anybody is perfect, but these men are blatantly
Wicked.
narcissistic and only
Mm-hmm.
have their personal interest in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good
No,
for running a country.
at all. At all.
Right.
And but I got to say, man, the people are even in that situation that they're in, and they're outmanned. Well, I ain't gonna necessarily say outmanned, but have more outpowered because
Yes.
the Russians, they're coming over there with all the big weaponry, the tanks and
Mhm.
all this stuff. But those people are still fighting back, man. They're still
Yes. What
fighting.
else? Like I told some people, either you fight back or you lay down and die.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you. That's what war is about.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to luck, and it's so sad when, so that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yet you
Mm.
complaining about everything. Well, gas price, complain about that.
Yeah.
Or it's just so many things that we try to disconnect ourselves. And I'm not one to be obsessive about anything, but do
Mm-hmm.
understand the significance of certain events.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to do the church thing and the prophecy thing and blah 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 blah. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about what you gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't talk
It's,
about how you gonna behave,
mm-hmm.
or how you respond for that matter.
And for the people that say, and I'm gonna use a very small element here, but for the people that say it does not affect me, it is going on over there, that does not affect me at all. That's not true. Ask Uber and Lyft drivers
Mhm.
that have to deal with these gas prices that's rising right now.
Matter of
They're
fact, you're paying for it.
yeah.
You're paying for it. Every word we pay for.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Exactly.
paying for it.
Yep.
So think
Yep.
about that. You're paying for it not only with your tax dollars, but you're paying it with the lives of your children. Some people
Mm-hmm.
in war, and
Yep.
you never know. People are running, fleeing
Mm-hmm.
from their homes,
Yep.
fleeing from their homes.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
That's what war is about.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that does not feel that any type of sympathy for people, innocent people,
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're innocent people at the whims of selfish men.
Mm-hmm.
But only
Exactly.
thing you can do when you're under attack is fight back, man.
Mm-hmm. You
Fight
better.
back.
You
Fight
better.
back like it's your last day breath.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit around and just give up, give
Mm-hmm.
in, submit.
Just roll over.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta fight back, man. You gotta
Mm.
fight back. The world's not perfect. And ain't
Now,
nobody coming to love you. So you might as well fight back.
if you want to have any semblance, if that's the right word, of winning, of having
Yeah.
victory, you
You gotta
better
be
fight.
trying. You
Yeah.
gotta be
Yeah.
trying.
How
Some
did
people
how did
don't
how,
even want to try.
mm-hmm. How did saying go? I'd rather die on my feet than to live on my knees.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's the old
But
saying. I don't
yeah,
know who said.
but I like a better, even a better one, as we talk about on here a lot. Do you want to be healed?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to do something, man.
Yeah.
You ain't
Yeah.
gonna get to just sit around there and wait for it to fall in your lap.
You'd
You're
never
gonna have
get
to
it.
do something. So decide to do something. And then
Mm-hmm.
let folks know what it is you about, what side you on.
Yeah. What
Don't
did
be
you say?
so wishy-washy when it comes to what's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's refreshing to see that they are fighting back. They're sitting over there, they making all kind of stuff, man, trying to
Yes.
stop all the they doing so much, man. I was like, wow, these people here, they're not just gonna just lay down. And I think either you or Rico, one of y'all said something a couple of days ago, maybe about a week ago, I think it was, when this whole thing started. How they're the same people.
Yeah.
They're the same. It's like they're fighting their brothers or cousins or whoever it is,
Mhm.
man. They're connected and so they could be connected in some kind of way, and you got a war situation where you're fighting against your family members, man.
Right. It could, you never know what. But if you go and watch the stories and people on the ground reporting and things like that, no one enjoys war. Who's running around like, yeah, this is great war. This is
Yeah,
great war.
I'm
Yeah.
loving this. I'm loving this.
Watch these fools.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the racist ones
Mm-hmm.
that are committed to the Republican Party, who believe that some part of their Christian religion,
Mm-hmm.
supporting who? Our enemies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how can you do that? How?
Doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense at all.
January the 6th,
Mm-hmm.
supporting our enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Those people who are even sitting in Congress supporting people trying to destroy democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I vote for a political party that is set out and hell bent on destroying democracy?
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's one of the reasons why we are in the Ukraine. In the Ukraine, it's
Mm-hmm.
because the Ukraine decided they wanted to be a democratic state, and they've been so with our blessing and protection
Mm-hmm.
because they want to be Democrat. That's one of the reasons. Democracy, that people should have a right to vote,
Yep.
that people
Yep.
should have certain rights where they live in different countries as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think everybody uses our Constitution, do you?
No.
No, people have their own constitutions and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And this is one of those countries that once the Soviet Union was dissolved, that chose democracy and wanted to remain independent of Russia
Mm-hmm.
and what they call a democracy. Well,
They
they
don't.
don't even call it democracy.
Mm-hmm.
They're against them. They're against choice. They're against freedom. They're against voting. Hmm. Hmm. Who does that sound like?
Mm. Sound like your buddy, don't
I'm just saying.
it?
I'm just
you
saying,
notice,
bro.
notice I said your buddy.
Like one, you can be black all day. You're gonna be black regardless of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But even black folks need to defend democracy.
Absolutely. And stand up in some kind of
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Now, the pump. Let me say good morning to Frank Risen. Good morning to Virgo. Good morning to you as well. We got quite a few people that's coming here. I want to say good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate you being here. You could give us a call and be a part of the conversation. All you have to do is real simple. Give us a call 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to hear from you. We're live. We're here until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you get an opportunity between there now and then, give us a call. And again, I'm gonna say it again. Make sure you join this broadcast tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy tomorrow. I can hear what Captain Leonard, what stance he gonna take in this whole situation. It's gonna be crazy. But Leonard, we spoke earlier briefly about the gas situation and how the gas prices are going up. They've been going up ever since this whole thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Biden has said he was going to release some of the reserve gas, which
Mm-hmm.
hopefully should help in some kind of way. But what do you think about this, man? It doesn't look like it's going to get any better.
Well, also people, gas prices are also a responsibility. A portion of it you pay. A lot of it goes to your state governments.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Mm,
state, your state governments can make it easier for you, but no one talks about that.
mm-hmm.
So let's not get it. A lot of people like to. It's a common complaint about oil price. If this isn't one thing, it's another. But whenever there is a reason to an excuse to do it, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another one of those things that has happened that just prospectively is raising the gas prices. And I
Mm-hmm.
say prospectively for the very simple fact that it's artificial inflation. Artificial inflation. But then
Mm-hmm.
this is why we have those reserves that the president mentions.
Okay. Now, explain to me when you say artificial inflation. What exactly does that mean?
Tell you something needs to go up for some odd reason
Mm-hmm.
that is really not motivated by changes in delivery or
Mm-hmm.
actual supply. Usually, what is used is the supply excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why, if it's a supply issue, this is why we have that supply on hand. So at any time, because you have to remember, it's a money game where people have agreed to kind of share. That's
Mm.
what these contracts and agreements are about, and that's why the president never just say, "Okay, just open them up then."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, because we get our oil from somewhere else. That's our reserve.
Mm-hmm.
So we've contracted to purchase oil from foreign countries just to keep the economy stimulated globally. That's one thing. But by opening up these reserves, it floods the market with additional supply. Supposedly, when supply increases, the cost of things should decrease.
Yes.
So that's what you'll see happen once the supplies are open, because where we
Mm-hmm.
normally get it, there's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so you use your supply. But gas gouging is going to be gas gouging.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody's like trying to keep gas prices low for you. That's a lie. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's it's, it's a lie. But they can do something to lower them if they want to.
If they
And
kids.
and your state could do it. Look at how much part of that fuel price is assessed on behalf of the state where you live.
Mm-hmm.
That alone you would be surprised at how much you're paying. So it's
Mm-hmm.
all relative, but people are going to use the excuse about prices are automatically going to, like, say, for instance, a barrel of oil, right?
Uh-huh.
A barrel of oil just tells you the price for the barrel, but it still has to be refined. You got to pay the people that bring it to you. You got to would pay for the truck that carries it, and on in the shipping and all these different types of things that go into making up this price. Prices
Mm.
go up because people want to make money,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we almost have unlimited supplies and abilities to produce certain things. So
Mm-hmm.
production used to control price. Now you have such things like this propaganda that also signals to markets it's okay to raise the price. Like, say, for instance, when there's a mass destruction somewhere, where there's a hurricane or some act of nature. Well, why do you times 10 the price of the building materials?
Mm-hmm.
Not because there's a shortage, it's because people need them. And you know
Mm-hmm.
people got to get them from you, so you jack the price up. Thus the whole argument about competition in the market. Because if producer A is going to jack the price up, it only going to last as long as there is no producer B, C, D, E, F, G, and
Mm-hmm.
no conglomerate decision to keep prices artificially high.
Is that one of the reasons why they a lot of people are against people having a monopoly on certain things?
Yes, that is exactly it. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you own it all and you're the main producer and they have the supply, you can charge whatever you want
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's in demand,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if the people learn those basic concepts which they teach you in regular old public school,
Yep.
when prices go up, decrease your consumption if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Always. When the best way to get prices right back down for gas, stop traveling.
Yeah. Stop.
Conserve.
Yeah.
Send the message back to them you're not paying it by one, stop buying so much.
Mm-hmm.
Stop buying so much gas.
Mm. But
War helps inflate the price of lots of things.
but then the truth of the matter, do you think people would really do that?
Well, they do it on certain things. We just have to, that's why when we're teaching people about boycotting, what are you boycotting? What is the nature of the market of the? Because you can boycott a store all you want. If there's several alternatives,
Mm-hmm.
people can go to those alternatives. But if not, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
See, a boycott works when everybody has to depend specifically on something, or you boycott to put, like, say, for instance, the corner store out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Just that corner store has a limited amount of people that go there or what have you. And if you boycott, you stop them from making money. If you don't stop them from making money, you're not being effective.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing how the dollar bill everything trickles right back down to that dollar bill, man. If
It
you
should.
people say, well, this and that, well, just affect their money, affect their pocket. If
It's
you
livelihood.
yeah, if you affect their pocket, they'll listen.
Yes,
If
because
you don't
that's
know,
why they're there. See,
mm-hmm.
so why people think businesses are created for your benefit is
Mm-hmm.
backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses are created to make profits.
Mm-hmm.
That's their conscience.
Mm-hmm.
Profits. They're businesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the motivation. I wouldn't open up a plant just so you could have a job.
Yeah.
You open up a plant because you're gonna make some money.
Mm-hmm.
And this notion that jobs have hearts and all, I don't know about all that, but money is always going to be there. And you know me,
Mm-hmm.
I get frustrated just with people having conversations where they act like money ain't this and money ain't that. Okay, I can't specialize in what it ain't. I know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue about what it ain't and see how that work out for you.
Mm-hmm. It's I guess I'm being a little silly here, but it's a thing, man. Whereas a person and I kind of feel a certain way about money as well, and we on different sides of the coin in regards to money because I don't let money, and I'm not saying that you do, but I'm saying I don't let money govern my life. I know that it takes money to do a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I can't expect my wife and I, man. We're actually going to Vegas next month. We're going to Vegas for a few days in next
Mm-hmm.
month, and I know that if we want to go to Vegas and hang out in Vegas during the spring break situation,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take money, man.
You can go down there if you want to and put some love in the slot machine. They're gonna work. How about put some? You gonna pay the air for the airplane ticket? I
Yeah,
got some love.
exactly,
How much
exactly.
love is? How much love is that?
Look at, I'm gonna pay for this
Man,
airline
be
ticket.
real. Be
I'm gonna
real.
pay for this airline ticket with this nice peach cobbler that
Be
we
real. That's what I'm saying. Be real.
get.
Be real. You
And,
trying to pay for your ticket and you don't. How many oxtails is that? I fix you some oxtail. You trade
yeah,
me your oxtail for a plane ride.
exactly, exactly,
Man, stop.
exactly. And it ain't
Stop.
go. And then at the end of the day, if you look at the whole, even in a situation like that, even if that was a possibility. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Richard. Even if that was a possibility, how much money would you pay? Did you have to pay for those oxtails unless you got them in them running around in your yard out there and you had to pay for them
Like I
too?
say, whatever you're at the whim of the person that owns the ox's tail's heart.
Yeah,
Appeal to their heart, and maybe they'll charge you less. How about that?
exactly,
But you
exactly.
gon' pay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's gonna cost in some kind of way. Like I said, we gotta have a place to stay while we're there. We're gonna be there more than a day, so we gotta have a place to lay down and rest. Uh,
No, matter of fact, you gonna want to spend some money.
yes, sir. Yes, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
gonna see something you won't want to do, want to eat.
Mhm,
You're not
mhm.
going to Las Vegas to stand in the soup line, is you?
No, no.
Man, stop. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
quit acting like money is a big deal
Mm-hmm.
and
But
use it in its proper place.
mm-hmm. But see, and that's you just said the perfect thing in its proper place.
Right,
Some people
right.
don't understand that. Some people don't understand that concept. And some people, good morning, Red Rose. Good morning, Sean, CEO. Sean is the CEO. Good morning to you. I'm trying to catch y'all. I'm missing a lot of y'all as y'all coming in. It's not intentional. Somebody named We. Okay. We joined. Okay, good. I'm glad we joined. I hope it's more than one me. Anyway, but I'm being silly. But my thing is, Leonard, a lot of times people, man, they get this whole misconcept. They say, well, y'all love money too much. Y'all gotta have money to do that. Y'all think money is the not necessarily root of all evil, but the cure of everything.
Mhm.
What? Money ain't gonna cure everything.
No,
It
money
ain't.
ain't gonna cure a whole lot except a bad bill. It'll fix up a bad bill perfectly.
Yeah,
It'll
quickly.
completely heal your debt.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it'll do. So that's why you do it. It's because of the utility of the matter.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. The way my household is set up over here, man, and I don't. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know. Maybe it was me. But every month I get the mail, the letters in the mail or something like that, man. And they call bills.
Yeah, go and cut up some little red construction hearts and put them back in the envelope and send them back to sender. How about that?
And see what happens.
See what happens. How it work out for you.
Mm-hmm. When you hit that light switch, it might be a little strange, huh?
I'm just look. How you live is how you live, bro. If electricity is the devil to you, cut it off. Sit in the dark. Get your candle.
Exactly. I had somebody say something to me the other day, Leonard. This had to be about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. And I thought I was going to call her name, but I don't think you know her. Friend of mine out of Columbia, South Carolina, and she was telling me about how road rage has gotten terrible, even in a place like Columbia, South Carolina. I see it all the time down here. I see it all the time, man. In Atlanta, when I in my time in California, it was terrible over there. Terrible.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Man, go ahead. Let's talk for a second about road rage, man, and how one incident could cause somebody driving. You didn't not necessarily hitting anybody, but people getting angry behind their wheel, frustrated behind that wheel. And the reason I remember it because you said something about with Cyber Baby, how when you're in the traffic jam, that's the perfect situation, man. People get frustrated, and things happen out there on that road, man.
Right. It's like with DJs, the 5 5 o'clock traffic jam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Special segment on the radio because they know what if you working and driving, they know what you're doing. Sitting in traffic, and that's why they talk to you about that traffic to try to keep you calm, to try to keep you from man, you got to sit out here. Let's be entertained, and that's why the radio is so important, and how you get attached to certain people on the radio because of how they help relieve your stress when you're doing what you're doing every day, and you got that going, the radio going on in the background. Because that's the part that's helping you deal and cope with things. That's why you spend that money on the satellite radio and to be able to listen to what you want to listen to.
Exactly.
Try it during them times. Try it, just focus on something else. But that element of just people being dangerous. And sometimes you go out there and people are just cutting people off, just like you. Sometimes you say to yourself, "What's that important? What's that important?"
Exactly.
Yeah, what's that important, man?
That's it right there. That old traffic jam, and people. The unfortunate part about it, and people take out their weapons in the middle of a traffic jam, and a person. Yeah, exactly. And somebody will lose their life, man.
Right.
Because of traffic.
Uncontrolled anger.
Yeah, exactly. You cut me off. How you gonna do that to me? What make you think you could pull in front of me? Sometimes do we think too highly of ourselves, man?
Man, I don't know about that, but I know one of the major concerns is that people say is what'll really drive you crazy if someone is reckless and they almost kill you or they cause an accident and your children are in the car. And here comes this young guy with no care in the world, driving 25 miles faster than everybody else, weaving in and out of traffic. It's almost like it's intent. You're being negligent. You don't care if you hurt anybody. You know how unsafe that is, what you're doing. What if you'd have killed me or my child?
Yeah.
Just cause you just felt like driving fast. And then more yet, then you're under the influence. Then you're under the influence. Or you're not paying attention and doing something, entertaining your friends while driving top speed, talking on the phone, text messaging. You never know. So people have to be careful out there.
And Leonard, people don't. I don't think a lot of people realize. And I told my daughters, man, when we were talking about how to drive, I explained to them, man, that a vehicle, a car, is a deadly weapon. It's a deadly weapon, man.
It could be
because
used as such for sure.
absolutely, absolutely, and it could kill somebody at the snap of a finger, man.
And it
It
has
don't
been
take long.
used. It has been
Absolutely.
used for that.
Hmm. 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 So we have to be very mindful
Hmm.
as to how we handle and conduct ourselves in traffic. We
Right.
have to be very mindful. Hmm.
But some
And
people be snapping. They be snapping and they be all these quick decisions, just like how the police jump out.
hmm.
Just like how the police jump out. Ain't took time to assess the situation or nothing, but your gun drawn and you ready to kill.
Yep. Hmm. Hmm.
Sad.
Very, very. So let's turn the page a little bit, brother. What's on your heart today, man? What's going on in Captain Leonard's world?
Um, Not a whole lot. Well, I shouldn't say that. But we're always constantly trying to maximize ourselves. So I'm usually studying and things like that of that nature. Right now, working on a lot of financial things.
Hmm.
Um, and investments, waiting for this market to go ahead, the crypto markets to hit rock bottom. So
Hmm.
when they go down, that's when you go in.
Yeah, yeah. Is it looking that way?
Yes, yes. I was surprised it hasn't. Well, you've seen a huge decrease
Hmm.
in markets being affected for this past month or so, predicted for the next month, maybe another month. But they go up and down. But we've seen a huge dip in the stable coins like Bitcoin.
Hmm.
So a lot of times, once the major coins start to go down, you just see how far. Some people who do invest have looked at one day it's this 1,000, next day it could be for 500.
Hmm.
That's half gone.
Yeah.
Crypto markets are very volatile. They're always open 24/7, but they'll recover just like a regular market would.
Now, Leonard, there's a lot of people out there that may be listening to us right now that don't have a very clear understanding of this whole cryptocurrency thing. Give us a brief overview of what it is and how does it work.
Well, crypto, as I would say, referred to, it's like tokens. Think of it as a video game.
Hmm.
And when you are playing a video game, you win certain rewards. And the rewards that you get may be the various, I mean, called different types of coin. Let's say gold coins. And every time you reach a level, you get a gold coin. Well,
Hmm.
crypto is a virtual market like that, but you
Hmm.
can transfer actual money. It's
Mm.
actual money,
Okay.
digital currency.
Hmm. And it's international.
No, it
No.
can be used. It's a form of currency that can be used digitally by people who have the capability to use it.
Hmm.
I don't believe everywhere has a crypto market, but many places do use crypto.
Hmm.
And it's a great investment because the crypto now it works just like your regular money works.
Hmm.
It's just in a virtual world.
So I can or I cannot go into a store and purchase something with crypto.
In some stores you can.
Here in the United States.
Yes. You have cryptocurrency ATM machines.
Now I ain't never seen those. I
I
think
got
you
one
know.
right here at the gas station where I go. Think
Really.
about it. If you've seen those various people playing those gambling games,
Yeah,
do you think they get paid in real money?
I would think they did. Mm.
Maybe you give me a credit for something.
Yeah,
What is a credit?
that's money. That's cash. That's currency.
Right. It's
Hmm.
currency.
Yeah.
It's a credit.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when you think of it that way, and you don't think so much of it of you holding that money in your hand, putting it in your wallet, putting it
Hmm.
under your mattress, and all that, that
Hmm.
doesn't really exist in the crypto world
Mm.
because you're so used to the money that you can hold in your hand that there's sometimes the concept of a crypto. Even remember how some people don't even care for paying bills online. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
everybody wasn't sold out on how easy it was, and now you don't have to go wait in line. Now you don't have to. No, I'm gonna just take it down there and pay it in
Hmm.
cash,
Hmm.
and you stand in the line. And then when you go to paying cash, what if they ain't got the correct change? And
Mm,
somebody got to get some change. But you
mm,
know, you're used to a tangible asset like a dollar or a coin.
mhm,
Some people
mhm,
still want the hard cash because most people take cash,
mhm.
especially American dollars.
Yeah, yeah. Around the
So
world.
they'll keep the American dollars because they know if they can go anywhere, somebody's going to take money in trade for something they
Mhm,
need.
mhm,
So that's
mhm.
what people are used to, holding it themselves.
So we have to adjust our mindset.
If you want to do business digitally,
Mhm,
yes, it's very convenient. We see how these transactions. Like I went to the a food truck park, right?
mhm.
Come no cash park,
Wow.
no cash.
Mhm,
Swipe, swipe, swipe.
mhm.
Remember
Yeah,
how it was when folks started talking that? Man, pretty soon we got swipe for everything. They ain't even want to swipe cards, when it first started,
yeah, yeah.
you
Mhm,
know. And but this particular food truck park, which a lot of them are now, are cash. I mean, are no cash.
mhm,
You have to have a form of currency that you electronic currency.
mhm. Exactly.
Several great reasons why that's a good idea.
And I was
How you gonna rob me if I ain't got no cash?
exactly, exactly. And I was about to ask you, Leonard, what are the from where you're standing, where you're standing, and how you're viewing this whole situation, and your experience and expertise in it. What are the pros and cons of this crypto? What are the pros and cons?
Extremely volatile,
Mm-hmm.
extremely volatile markets. That's
Mm,
why you could be up one day and down so far the next. Far more volatile than the regular finance markets.
mm-hmm.
Because once again, this particular currency is non-tangible,
Mm-hmm.
which means, like, say, for instance, it's not backed by anything except your commitment and what's on the ledger.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put $50 in, you initially started with $50, spend it anywhere where it's accepted,
Mm-hmm.
but you never hold it.
Yeah.
You convert your cash into this currency.
Mm-hmm.
This currency has the ability to increase in value. A
Mm-hmm.
dollar in your hand is a dollar in your hand. It ain't
Yeah.
gonna never turn into five.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You may have a dollar in crypto that turns into a lot more in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Get it to less.
Oh, most definitely. You can lose. You can lose
Mm.
because it's an investment.
Okay.
So it will take some time for certain. And some people won't believe in anything other than a traditional bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they grew up. That's what they're about. Traditional banking.
I know grandma and them, man. Grandma and them didn't really care too much for the banking system, man. They rather dig a hole in the backyard or put their money in a sock.
Right, because they didn't believe that the banks were safe.
Yeah, yeah.
Banks
And
have FDIC insurance. And what
hmm
people know that means is, I believe up to a certain point you're insured.
yeah. I think it was at one point it was like 150. I think like
Yeah,
200.
100,000. So shout out to the FDIC, which was a program that insured money
Mm-hmm.
of people who used banks.
Yeah, I think it's like 250 now. Yeah, Curtis just said I think it's like
Oh,
two.
okay.
Yeah,
So, and there's
200,000.
different levels to that too.
Mm-hmm.
But once you entrust somebody with your money, you want it to be safe. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the big things I know with remember when it became a real electronic issue, if you had issues, the moment your money went in the bank, somebody else could grab it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of cats don't like to put their monies in banks.
Mm-hmm.
Because, say, for instance, with what's going on in the Ukraine, if I own the system that you use to transfer money, if I disrupt that system, it shuts your economy down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do the business that you used to do because you don't have the mechanism that you were using it for, or
Yeah.
it's unsecure, is what they say. You know, how you gonna find your money once it's gone on virtual currency?
You ain't gonna find it.
Unless you can know how to read that ledger to prove it to yourself.
Mhm.
But that is why this system was created. So instead of being managed by 2 or 3 rigid individuals or systems, cryptocurrency has a lot more freedom, but it's a lot more risk as well.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the governments are trying to regulate that. I think China completely halted crypto at one time. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but because of the type of government that they have, shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down. On your people who do taxes, you realize, I think this is the first year that you've been asked about your crypto investments. Because what a lot of people were doing, I remember one of the first cases on virtual currency was a divorce. I remember reading about a very wealthy man. And of course, what do people do when they get in a divorce and they got assets? Trying to hide them.
Yep. Yep.
So this
Crypto.
man took his wealth and put it into crypto. There's no rules related to that. There was no rules regulating the virtual world. Like black markets, for instance. If you're on the black market and you got enough money, you can buy what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
In secrecy. Anonymously. That's one of the things that currency offers, virtual currency offers as well. But now it's tagged in that language that most people can't read. The blockchain. And it's administered by several people that verify that you have what you say you have. And they keep record of that. And that record is the Constitution.
That's good.
It don't control what you buy. It don't dictate to you what you can or cannot buy. But it's a method of exchange.
Now you said
so
that
people who are willing to take it, you can trade with them with it.
Exactly. Now I want to go to Curtis. We got Curtis with this as well. I want to go to him. But you had said something about China. They halted the cryptocurrency. Is that a good or a bad thing, or how do you view that?
Well, it depends. They halted it for their own personal reasons. If you halting crypto to keep people from getting rich, if you're limiting, if remember now, the bank's been robbing you.
Yeah. Ever.
System, you know, banks get in trouble a lot. But they have so much, they pay their fine and keep it pushing. That's how much money they're making. Pay the fine, keep it pushing.
Yeah.
If you discover that they're doing something, pay the fine, keep it moving. Banks may pay you less than a tenth, maybe
3%.
Less than 3%.
Yeah.
When they've made the other 97% on your funds.
Yep. Yep.
But give you 3. Why not go to crypto when you can get the 97 and pay the 3 as an administration fee?
Makes sense to me. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning? And good morning, China Dog. Good to have you. Good morning. What's that? Toki? I think that says Toki. Good morning to you as well. Curtis, good morning, brother. How you doing this morning?
I'm all right, fellas. How y'all, man?
Hey, doing good.
Morning, sir.
Talking about this cryptocurrency, man. How do you feel about this whole crypto situation?
I believe that every institution has to evolve at some point. Things change. I believe that crypto is probably going to be of the future, and governments are restricting it because it ties directly into what Leonard said. There's something that Leonard said in the end that I hope the listeners didn't miss. The governments are tapping into it and trying to restrict it because the governments are trying to stop folks from gaining wealth.
Yes.
You got to understand, there's been a lot of money made off of poor folks. There's been a lot of money setting up made off of what some folks call a caste system. A lot of money. So You know, when you think about it, and when you think in terms of banks, I got a real simple kind of thing that I say. So, how y'all was just talking about the 3%, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Getting the
Uh-huh.
3%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you ever wanted to check it out, be my guest. Here's my thought. We get 3% because we only put. Let's just say we put $5,000 of money in the bank. So our interest is compound quarterly. Most of the time, most banks give you quarterly interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine if you're able to put $2 billion in the bank. Are you telling me that their interest is going to be compounded quarterly?
No.
No, I don't believe that.
No.
Nope.
I believe that the bank now has access to put money in even larger banks, like for example, Swiss banks.
Yes, sir.
It's compounded. The thing of it is the bank is not putting money in you; they're putting money in another bank, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not putting their own money. They're putting your money. They're
Right.
putting the the. They're getting everything that they should get upon the reports or based on the reports that they report to a higher funding source of accounts. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Wachovia got in trouble. And my son used to actually work at Wachovia. And some of the things that they was doing was straight criminal, bro. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you only knew the inner workings, Jamie Dimon should have went to jail. Not been he should have went directly to jail. Not
Mm-hmm.
collected 200 for pass and go, none of that. So when you think about it, right, if you're telling me that the person that you got hold of your money has access to accounts that increase interest daily, and let's say they put $100 million in that bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they're on $100 million. Can you imagine how much money they're gonna have by the second quarter?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pay. Hit that cash register. Cha-ching. Cause they got cause they got it. Now, Curtis, I wanted to wait until you came on this morning to talk about what you sent me yesterday. And I'm gonna
Talking
see
about what? I'm
about
sorry,
what
I had to.
about what you sent me yesterday. I'm going to pull it up. Give me a second here.
Ooh,
Yeah. I want to pull this thing up and talk about that for a minute before we get to our topic for today. But it's saying the Holocaust. Hold on for a second here. Holocaust survival funding. Holocaust survival funding. Now you sent that to me yesterday. I took a look at it, and there's a lot of interesting verbiage there. German to give additional 720 million dollars to Holocaust survivors globally. Globally. Now,
right, global.
yeah, globally and distributed to 300 social welfare organizations globally, and approximately 120 impoverished survivors will benefit. 120,000, I'm sorry, will benefit. Curtis, what is that saying to you? And where's our money, man?
That's why I sent that to you. What got me the most is that wasn't on the national news channel.
Mm-hmm.
That was my local news. If you look at that, you'll see. I think it says WBAL channel 13 or something like that, right?
Yeah. It does.
That right.
Mm-hmm.
So why is that not even a national topic? We come on. But the other thing is remember, I've been saying for a while, I was like, look, I can't remember the name of the organization, but I had found out about this thing back in 2004 when I was driving trucks. And I was like, wow, hold on. So they meet every so often and they come to the table and say, has there been enough given? Has there not been enough given? Do you need to give more? Do you need to give less? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that flashed across the screen, what really stuck out to me was 120,000 impoverished.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you say 120,000, you think about 10 million. So basically, you might as well say about 1% of those 10 million had to be less than less than 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Because that basically gives you, if they was less than 7 years old, there's a good chance that those folks are still alive, that there would be some of those folks still alive, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And myself, this is bananas, because not saying that they don't deserve it, because, there was, I mean, they were mistreated.
It
You
was
know what I
terrible.
mean? Like,
It was
okay,
terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. It was terrible.
but what I'm saying is wow. How can y'all? Because of course, the American power structure was sitting at that table, and they were sitting at that table,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a vote, and/or the fact that they got legal representation that represents them at that table says to me, wow, well, why don't we have legal representation set at the table representing us,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Globally. And like it works like I think it works, where the countries are meeting, because like right now we know what's going on. We know that the UN is meeting and all of that, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, well, wow, if the countries were sitting at the table and all of the countries voted and Germany said, yeah, you know what, we second that motion or whatever, how is it that y'all can stand there and tell the Germans how much more they need to give, and you ain't even broke bread with the African Americans?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what gives you, if that ain't walking hypocrisy, I don't know what is, right here.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Let me Leonard, what's on your heart concerning this, brother? What do you see in all this?
Well, I don't see anything. It's an agreement that was made,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't take a long time to make it. This is a
Mm-hmm.
foreign government paying for their responsibilities and destroying people's lives. It's a very different situation as well. Because if you don't understand this, then you certainly don't understand on why. It ain't because they like Jews.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of what happened to them and who did it. And the
Mm-hmm.
powers that be that will go to war about it. Now, if a Jew paid for the war, you owe him and his people
Mm-hmm.
because of his investment. These people have fought every day on this level to make sure that this happens. To this day, I'm not sure if you're German, call in and let us know. If you're Jewish, call in and let us know. How often do you hear Jews talking about hating Germans or vice versa?
Mm.
You don't hear a lot of that rhetoric, do you?
No.
Or Germans, every time you make up, you say one thing, those freaking Jews. You know, when do you hear it? Where's the animosity between them two? They moved right to repenting and paying, repenting and atonement. The claims
Mm-hmm.
conferences was set up for that particular reason. The claims conference. Here is the issue, and Germany was willing to pay. After all, so much has been done for Germany.
Mm.
So think about it. We were at war with them.
Mm-hmm.
After that war, we started rebuilding. See, that's also helps relationship.
We
If I
we rebuilt.
exactly, but that's what we did. We rebuilt them. So think about that. That
Mhm.
extends that courtesy to them. Don't make us do it again.
How does that line up with the reparation conversation that we're having here in America? How does that line up, or does
Well,
it?
because our reparations are for a crime that lasted a whole lot longer than the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
The Holocaust was a moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
Africans, enslaved African suffering is still going on to this very day.
Mm.
Do understand that. There's no more persecution of the Jews
Yeah.
like this Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
That was a crazy guy that got people to follow an idea. Now he dead and his people dead, and they hunting whoever was with him that was doing that.
Mm.
This didn't happen. It was that particular issue. You can put a capsule around the Holocaust
Mm-hmm.
and get all of it. You can't do that with racism in America
Mm-hmm.
because of critical race theory tells you it has permeated every segment of our society to this day. The Holocaust been
Man,
over.
I went to a gathering. I'm gonna call it a gathering, and they had a lot of quote unquote important people there a couple of weeks ago. And as a matter of fact, I think it was the day you and I sports center met. I had to go to this event that they had, and they was there, and I was listening to them for a minute. They were talking some talk. I was listening.
Mhm.
One of them got up, and black guy got up, and it was a mixed crowd. It was an absolutely mixed crowd, and he said, and one of the things that I don't understand that really don't make no sense to me, and I don't know why they keep pushing it, is this critical race theory situation. What is it?
Mhm.
I look, and everybody around the room there, there was, a lot of people, and not everybody, but a lot of people were in agreement with him. They was clapping and stuff. Man, I got up and I walked out, man. I went to my car and I left.
Right.
Because and you can take it from there, but my thing is this right here, man. If you don't know, go out there and study and find out what it is.
That's
But don't
right.
get up here in front of all these people, man, because you have an audience,
Mhm.
people that don't look like you, and you try to get their approval in some kind of way, and you're gonna say something so crazy as that. I looked
Right.
at him and I looked at the response around the room, man. I got up and I left, man. I came home. Walked to my car and I came home. It was crazy to me, man, to see that.
Mhm.
What is it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like the more the people would agree and clap and stuff like that, the further he was going with it.
Mhm.
I said, brother, you lost. You are lost. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Ignorance is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why sometimes I can be very off-putting with people. I don't argue about things I don't have information about.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I don't agree with things that I don't have information about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate things I don't have information about.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you say it don't mean nothing to me that I would have a reason to form an opinion of it. That's your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I go get mine, I'm going to inform my opinion by evidence and information.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because I think my voice sounds good on the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to just say something just to get somebody riled up. Or here's truth. We got to deal with it. We at war with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need people constantly fighting for our reparations.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, with this situation, these people don't take a break.
No.
This is what they do. Their whole goal is to seek restitution in every way possible for what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they live, you owe them. That's their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Same perspective like my ideas on reparations. Because, oh, we can't pay that. Well, you may not be able to pay it today, but I bet you'll pay it and you'll allocate every year for it
Mm-hmm.
until it's the vestiges of racism, institutional racism, are dissolved.
Mm-hmm.
When police, I tell you what, when police stop beating black people, that's when it'll stop.
Yeah.
That's when it'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
When you stop charging black people more for insurance and everything else, when you stop trying to prevent black people from living in certain neighborhoods, when you stop trying to charge black people more for the same thing that you charge whites less for, then
Mm-hmm.
it'll be done.
Yeah.
Then it'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
think about that. That's when it'll be done. Your children's children will still be doing it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And Curtis, to have something like that, man, to have this individual that look like you and I get in there in front of all the mixed crowd of people. This is a diverse crowd, man. What is this critical race theory? What I never understood it. What is it anyway? I tried to talk to somebody. He was going. I tried to talk to somebody for them to explain it to me, and it just didn't make sense to me. Curtis, this is a brother saying this, man. Curtis, what talk to me. Curtis, you there?
And just because black people are black does not mean that they understand critical race theory.
And he
So
said,
there's just the way that there are ignorant whites about it, there are ignorant blacks about it.
yeah, he certainly claimed as though he did not understand it.
No, he
And
probably don't understand it
mm-hmm,
because he ignorant.
mm-hmm,
But I bet you he ain't read nothing. Like you said, I talked to some. Who did you talk to?
yeah,
Did you talk to somebody that knew what the hell they were talking about?
mm-hmm. Or what
Go
is
read it.
talk to
Go
somebody that's just
Google it.
you are. Yeah, exactly. Curtis, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm right here, bro.
What do you say to that, man? He made this big fuss in front of all these people, black folk, white folk. He had a couple of Indians and stuff in there, a couple of Latino brothers and sisters in there as well. But he stood up and he made that whole statement, man. What is I never understood it. What is it anyway? What critical race theory? What is it? Doesn't make any sense. Curtis, what's wrong with him?
He was speaking.
Talking to your phone for me, Curtis.
Yeah, he was speaking to a crowd. He was speaking from the perspective of an appeaser.
Mm-hmm.
He was speaking to a crowd for the sole purpose to save their children. Let's put it like this right here. I know you brothers on this phone remember a few of Malcolm X speeches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say one thing, and I'm pretty sure when I say this, y'all gonna know what I'm talking about. What's the matter, boss? We sick?
Yes, sir.
Boss, our house burning down.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta understand that statement was made solely to appease and to get the AOK and to let those other ignorant folk in the room know that I'm on y'all side.
Mm.
We sick, boss. You know, and to me, it's shameful that we are the only group, we are the only race and or culture in this country who has not received reparations.
Mm-hmm.
Or some form of it.
Mm-hmm.
Name one that didn't receive it, brothers, or some form of it. Name a race, group, and or culture in American society that has not received reparations.
You can't.
I'll wait.
You can't.
The only group that has not received any reparations in a true form of it is the African American population.
Mm-hmm.
The Hispanics, they got it. The Japanese / Asians, they got it. The Indians, they did I forget what they call, but the Indians, the ones from the Indonesians, they get it. You remember, Raheem, when we was in South Carolina? I know you remember this. When we was in South Carolina, you remember Pull You Forward.
Them trucks. The trucks.
Pull You Forward.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem, do you remember that they was given a $13,000 stipend?
Yeah.
To any Mexican? So that specifically the state was giving them $13,000 with the contingency that you buy a truck.
A truck, yeah. Them trucks. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that. And I know several African American farmers that was like, you know, I sure could use a new truck.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm still pushing this 57 Chevy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's shameful to me that our country will not address its ultimate sin. And if they addressed it and addressed it properly, I'm not going to say it will be a utopia, but I think that our country would be our country and our children would be extremely better off if the issue was just addressed.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong.
Now, Curtis, what do you say? What do you say to the people, man, that will say that basically what you're saying is money is going to cure everything and all the ailments that you have. So you putting all this onus on money. What do you say to them?
I would say when ignorance is on the move, it has no bounds. Because if you really listen to what I said reparations and the form of reparations. Mm-hmm. Reparations can come. Leonard says it all the time, and he is dead on point. Reparations come when you stop changing the score to the SAT because more of us score higher than more of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Reparations come when you stop the clause in the police union's contract that says I can do whatever I want to do as long as I'm wearing this badge. I can do what I do and not spend a day in jail. Reparations come when you stop sentencing African American males and females to larger sentences than you sentence everybody else. Reparations come when you stop charging African American businesses these astronomical rates for supplies, for logistics, when you don't charge your very same Caucasian American and Jewish American businesses. Reparations come when you start allowing for the African American farmer to tap into those benefits, those rights, and benefits that is put out to the farming world. It ain't got to just be a check. Reparations come when you start evenly distributing the academic dollar across the board, from rural areas to inner city ghetto schools. Reparations come when you start allowing, or you start putting up more programs for OJT, on the job training. See, reparations can come any number of ways, man. Mm-hmm. Reparations come when you acknowledge that what we did was completely wrong. As a group, as a majority, you acknowledge what was done was completely wrong, and we are not investigating how here's how we're going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Here's how,
Compensate.
here's
Compensate.
how, no, I don't even want to say compensate. Here's how we're going to make amends for what was done. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
That's good.
And also, people have the key component of any one that challenges reparations. I want people to remember this when it comes to this issue. Reparations are non-competing. So we're so used to hearing minority benefits. That includes everyone. Reparations must be specifically for the descendants of slaves in the United States of America. Going forward, even after slavery, you must also compensate for the issue with Jim Crow. There should be an automatic trigger for a lot of things that go on now in the United States because you haven't stopped doing what you were doing. And you constantly create coals and add coals to the fire each and every day. And this is why any reparations program for African Americans, the descendants of slaves, need to be perpetual. They need to become as common as the Constitution, unchangeable by any president by executive privilege, and they must be secured and administered by those who receive them.
So I'm hearing you say reparations, though there is some financial ties to it. Is more the just side of it, of being treated justly.
Well, you have to cure everywhere racism is. Guess what? Critical race theory tells you where it is, how it works, its mechanisms, and all of that. The sociological perspectives behind why people make certain decisions based on race. Remember, it started off as dealing with justice in the legal system. Lawyers sat down and came up with that.
Wow.
A brother decided to do the research and bring it to the forefront. Hey, man, this is what you did. Remember the Black Covenant with America, and I think Tavis Smiley used to produce that particular conversation. I'm working with individuals right now with the National Reparations Institute on the issue. HR 40 is still the bill that establishes, I believe, the U.S. government establishing these particular groups to investigate this. Now, we have to be we have to understand the issue why reparations ain't happening. It's because you got the haters on one side involved in it.
Yeah.
As long as the haters are at the table, it's going to be a problem. So that's why you need to go and vote. You get more people that believe in reparations in the public office, then you have more likelihood to pass a bill as it relates to reparations.
Exactly.
So you can think you got a force and you can be all mad. That's why it's so funny to me when I see people getting mad and emotional and this, that, and the other. I say, what you gonna do? I'm not concerned about how loud you say anything. What you gonna do? Or how, you ever heard that phrase where somebody say this, that, and the other, make me do it? How you gonna make me do it?
Exactly.
So you better have a plan to make somebody do something when you insist on anything. So we have to understand that we have to be full forward, and we have to make sure that we need a claims committee established. Everybody's reparations won't be the same, but at least we could do as intelligent people is to make a general, approximate, evolving system of healing our people.
Exactly.
Education, health and wellness, economics, land and agriculture, you name it. Those programs need to be there. Just like I'm a veteran. Veterans know when there's certain jobs and things like that, you automatically get a certain number of points because you're a veteran.
Yeah.
That's a system that addresses the fact that you're a veteran and what you agreed to. See, you sign up for that. That's why people go to one of the best, most attractive parts about the military are the benefits that you get for serving. So think about reparations, and remember, systems that like welfare and things like that were systems created originally due to individuals when we would send men to war, left a bunch of women and children behind.
Yeah.
So what we need a system that at least helps out the women and children of veterans who died in the war.
Absolutely.
Because they died fighting for their country, and not so much y'all get out of y'all feelings. This is on paper. See, I'm concerned about what's on paper.
Yeah.
I don't care how people feel. What is the paper policy that addresses the feeling and the issue and the problem? That's how you fix things, not crying about them.
Exactly. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What's up, bro?
What's going on with you, man?
Been headed out, man.
Are you have you educated yourself, man? Done any study on critical race theory? What do you think of critical race theory?
I really haven't, but what I've heard about it, I'm not really for it. I mean, what I've heard about it, I really don't know much about it, and I can learn more. But the things I've heard about it, as of if it is to make blacks feel like they're inferior in any sort of way, and whites feel like they're superior, then I'm not for it. Now you gotta understand. I said if.
I'm listening.
All right. So if that's the case, if it's not that way, then I might be for it. If it's just an educational thing, I'm for it. If in any way that is to make blacks feel inferior because of their skin color, and whites feel superior because of their skin color, then I'm not for it. That's an if.
Okay.
That's an IFF, if and only if.
I got you. Leonard, what's on your heart? Can you educate the brother, man, on what it is? Curtis, coming to you next, brother.
He can go read it.
True.
He can go read it if he'd like, but it does not matter what is said. Most people who are an opponent of critical race theory, who say they don't know nothing about it, then what are you opposing?
Like I just said,
because all it is really is it's a study across various disciplines that was led by civil rights scholars to examine how race and law in the United States work and to challenge the mainstream approaches and things like that as it relates to racial justice. There's 5 tenets of the because one thing about a theory is you don't have to agree with it.
That's true.
You have to disprove it. Here it is. Disprove it. It'll stand as long as it's not disproved.
Well,
so this theory has been around just like every other theory that people propose, and is reviewed by several peers in the field. Too many books, TV shows, and things of that nature have talked about it. I used it in my dissertation as it relates to social cultural factors that affect academic achievement. And it's these types of things that you need to go study first, because if you can't sit around and talk about what you don't know.
That's true. That's why I said if and only if it means these things, then I'm not for it. I didn't say whether it meant them or not. I said if it means those things. So in that instance of the words that I said, I'm saying, hey, if it means other things, like you just said, education, those type things, okay. But if it doesn't, but any way that it means the other thing, then I'm not for it. So okay. I'm never for making blacks feel inferior. I'm never for that. I'm always, I guess, and because of the way I was raised, to make me feel that I'm superior and I can do anything, can't nobody stop me but me. Now, if that's pie in the sky thinking, then that pie in the sky thinking done got me a long way. You know, that might be my ignorance that's blissful to me. but it's gotten me a long way. And what matters is when I say got me a long way is that I can show other people how to do the same thing. So it's not, it's not just the individual thing, it's my family also. And that's the core is where it starts at anyway. And the core is what it means anyway. If it means nothing to the core, which is me, then it means nothing. Not being selfish or anything like that, because like I said, we talked the other day, the more money I make, the more people I can help. The more, so if critical of, and I heard you guys talking about reparations and things like that. I believe that only what you said, Leonard, about reparations. No, I believe what Curtis was saying also, but the main thing is it has to be for Black descendants of slavery. Only. That's the only way that is right. Now, other than white people having to say, I know I did something wrong, I don't need white people to verify sugar honey iced tea. I don't need them to verify nothing about, well, we know we did wrong. I don't. That doesn't help my life or my children's life, this, that, or the other. Now, it might help some other people, but for me, I don't need no white person to tell me, I know I did wrong. I'm sorry for slavery. Stay out my face. You ain't a part of slavery. You ain't been a slave owner. Some of you people were some of the worst people at the time during slavery. Slaves were better off than some of you people. So I don't need a white person to tell me nothing about I'm sorry.
Hold on.
To where, yeah, you are sorry. And I'm talking about the other way sorry. Get your sorry behind out my face.
Hold on for a second, man. Let me go. We got a couple people on the phone line. Let me go to the next on the phone line. The next caller was Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking right now about critical race theory and reparations. You could jump in on any one of them, but how much education have you acquired on critical race theory?
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. And I don't want to talk on something that I'm not that caught up on. I try to stay away from that. So I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. But if you ask me about the other part was what?
Reparations?
Yeah. I do believe in reparations. I believe, well, what what's his name just got off?
Charles.
Charles. Yeah. And I believe it should be, choose the people that are actually ancestors of slaves here in America. I do believe that part. So and most Black people that are here, their families came over as slaves. Most of them. I'm not talking about the ones like immigrants from Africa. I'm talking about those that have been, their families have been here since they left Africa. So I do believe in it. I have no problem with them figuring it out. However they want to figure it out, y'all need to figure something out. And I believe that's only right. If you build on my back, then I'm entitled to something.
That's good. That's good.
And I would also recommend that if you are not familiar with race theory, one of the forerunners was, let's just call it the father of critical race theory. Let's just call him Derek Bell, because this was the man that really started doing a lot of work in introducing this concept of critical race theory, and this is what he worked on, and the philosophies along with it on the effect. And also remember, the evidence is still it's there. You don't have to go dig for it. It's there. I would recommend, this is one particular effort that I'm gonna see if I can put it in this.
Right there.
Yeah, like that. The National Reparations Declaration, put out by the National Reparations Institute, is doing a very good work on assessing what is needed and how to move forward. And so different people are working on reparations. Like I said, you have H.R. 40. That's the actual congressional bill that addresses reparations. H.R. 40. And remember, it was brought into Congress many years ago and has been constantly pushed by one particular side. Of course, we know it was the Democrats. And shout out to, he's gone now, our brother that did that. He was a representative in Detroit. His name is skipping my mind right now, the elder that did this, but he was a statesman for a very long time. And he constantly kept the reparations bill in front of Congress. And I'm glad that this Congress, the 117th Congress, has picked it up as well. And I think Senator Barbara Lee, I want to say, it sits on as the chair, I believe. Say it again, Kurt.
I think it's Barbara Lee.
Yeah, Barbara Lee. I just wanted to make sure. She's the one, I believe, that sits kind of sort of the chair of this type of committee to address this issue. And so we've also heard the various independent forums, like I mentioned before. You had Tavis Smiley used to bring a lot of our respected scholars and things and activists to the table to discuss this on a regular basis. But how great the enemy was when they seen that effort stop.
Wow.
So you have to keep talking about it. You have to understand that it is for you. It is owed to you. But if you take this attitude that it's not due, you're an enemy of the situation.
What did Charles just say?
Was it Obama against reparations?
No.
Okay.
His approach to reparations may be different, just like mine. I don't agree with everybody's approach to reparations. Because some people don't really have an informed view. Like, say, for instance, how much do you think I should give you, Raheem, for reparations?
Wow.
See that now we can't even talk no more.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you how you felt about it. How much? How much?
That's
I tell you what, when you figure it out, then let's go back to the table.
I have no idea. Absolutely.
Right. If you don't have no idea, I don't either. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Don't even worry about it. Because
Rico.
That's how unreal some people are and why nothing never gets done. Because some people have completely irrational views.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me go to Rico. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a new world, everybody.
Welcome.
Brand new day.
Absolutely. Welcome to you too. Rico, we're talking about Rico, I know you do some studying on this thing, man. Critical race theory. What would you say to somebody that say I don't? Tell you why I say this. I don't know if you was listening earlier, but I was at a function, man, and this guy stood up, man. Looked like you and I. He stood up. It was a mixed crowd, and he started talking about critical race theory. You know, it doesn't make any sense. What is it? Blah blah blah. He just went on with this whole spiel. It doesn't make sense. Blah blah blah. I got up, man, and because people was clapping. It was some people, not everybody, was clapping and all kind of stuff. I got up, man, and I walked out. I went to my car and went home, man. What do you say to somebody that say they just don't understand what this critical race theory thing is, man? I know you know about it. I know you've studied on it. What do you say to them?
If they don't understand it and they know about it, they're choosing not to understand it. They're in denial. And so, you see, I did hear you speak on it earlier. And you notice he was trying to appeal to the audience.
Yes.
A certain demographic of people. And those demographic of people have entitlement, they have power, advantage, they have control, and they are the ones that probably benefited from slavery and from racism. So he's appealing to them. The question is what would make a black man want to appeal to them? What would make any human being want to appeal to the model of their oppressor? The system. And it comes down to almost how people idolize celebrities. Celebrities have things that we want. So we start envying and idolizing them. So guess what? The dominant society, they set the standard and said, this is the way things are supposed to be. And no matter how dirty it was that they attained it, we looked at the outcome and said, well, wow, look at what they got. They got guns, bombs, cars, TV. They just got everything. Swimming pool in the backyard. Look at their neighborhood. Yeah, that's the standard. So we started wanting those things. And those people that wanted those things, they tend to appeal to the thought process of those people. Like the black slave master from South Carolina. He bought into it. He came from slavery and bought right into the same system that told him that he wasn't worth anything. But then guess what? He ended up becoming worth something. He succeeded in that same system. So somewhere we saw a way in. And when we see a way in, then we start thinking like them and talking like them and using their rhetoric and their belief system. We have accepted their standards. So, you know, that's how human beings cope and adapt. We always tend to always follow the lead of those people that seem like they are in favor in a position or a place of where you think you should be. So, I mean, you know, that's what the guy was doing when he went up in there. When he said he didn't agree and he was trying to appeal to them, it's because he wants everything that they have. It didn't matter how they got it. He just wants it. And the way that they got it, he believed that they could do it. It could be done the same way because the black slave owner, the black slave master in South Carolina bought into the same system. So, you know, really truly, that's what was going on with him. He probably loves capitalism, and he probably loves the United States. And so, you know, that he just wants to leave that in the past.
Yeah.
That's that brainwashing, you know, that goes on. But at the same time, it really goes to show you pretty much just how I'm gonna say disenfranchised and unorganized we are, because, you know, like Leonard said a second ago, if you ask each individual person how much they should get for reparations, you're gonna start hearing all kind of stupid numbers.
Yeah.
But me, myself, personally, I heard you ask the question earlier about reparations. And to me, reparations would include reform. You got to repair all of these things that racism impacted and affected. And it really impacted and affected every piece of our existence. So you got to go and repair the judicial system. You got to go and take out some of these old laws that's in state and federal government that actually condone racism, that actually condone withholding benefits and opportunities for us to progress and grow. Then somebody said, well, why do you need reparations? I just said it. They intentionally withheld people's opportunity to grow when they gave it to others. And now today they want to say, well, y'all don't need reparations. That happened back then. Well, you already knew that if you impacted our opportunity to grow and progress, automatically that meant even for the future. Because our foundation was being ripped away. You was giving everybody else a foundation to start from so they can build and grow.
Exactly.
But we don't want y'all to have that foundation. Oh, well, that don't impact y'all to this day. That's the reason why you did it, so we wouldn't even be able to survive or succeed today.
We could let
So now they want to go into critical race theory and get mad about it. But really and truly, I think they complicating it. They're taking the word and trying to make it mean what they want it to mean. And so sometimes when you come up with things like this, you have to make it to the point where they can't fool around with it. So maybe they should call it the impact of racism theory.
Wow. We got another caller. We got Toya with a T. She's on the line as well. But Charles, he was putting something on the screen and all kind of stuff. And I don't. He was doing some stuff in the background while he was talking. So I'm going to see what's on his heart. What is you wanted to say, Charles?
When he spoke about the South Carolina slave owner, he did not buy into the American way of slavery. Slavery was already in Africa before it came here. We have to understand when the free slaves left here and went to Liberia, the only reason the blacks didn't want them back over there is because they would interfere with their slave trade. So when the free slaves went back over there, they got back into the slave trade. This is nothing that Europeans taught them. Matter of fact, most of the slaves were brought here come from other than European people. So I don't get that. And then the second part is that Obama was against reparations until lately because him and Mitch McConnell, I remember Mitch McConnell saying something that I agree with Obama on reparations, because both of us come from ancestors of slave owners. We have yet to have an American president from the ancestry of slavery in America. We have yet to have that, other than slave owners. Obama, slave owner, white and black family from Kenya, and then from where his mom from, Kansas or something, but they were slave owners. Kamala Harris, the little black that she got in her, slave owners. We have yet to have black slave ancestors as a president or vice president of the United States. And I'm not going by skin color. I'm going by what it is.
Mm-hmm. Anybody want to say something toward that before I want to go to Toya with a T as well.
Yeah.
Well, I feel say let me respond, since he just disputed my little end about the black slave owner.
Go ahead.
This once again is another tactic where you try to just group slavery in one group as slavery. Slavery is slavery. Everybody did it. The Native Americans had black slaves had black slaves, black people did all this and that. But it was a whole different monster when it came to America.
That's right.
It was a whole different monster. They was feeding people alligators and ripping people apart by horses and raping their babies and raping their daddies. You know it. And this man was the most brutal. This black man in South Carolina, he did it in the most extreme way to prove that he could do it just as good as them. And he became one of the most slaves.
No, brother. They were doing that in...
Let them talk, Charles. Let them talk. Let them say it.
We talking about American reparations. We talking about America. And see, this is real easily how we get distracted. This is white people. White people use this same method. We talking about African descendants of slavery. We talking about reparations in America. I'm talking about an American black former slave that went into it and did it the same way the rest of the Americans do it. I ain't talking about no history. Let's not know what slavery is. Everybody knows what slavery is. But see, to take away from what America needs to be held accountable about, and the system
nobody's taking away from America.
Charles, nobody said a word while you was talking, brother. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna let everybody say what they're gonna say, and I'll come back to you, but we're not gonna interrupt. Go ahead, Rico.
But we're talking about reparations for black people and critical race theory for black people and the impact of slavery on black people that were descendants of slaves in America. We ain't talking about the impact of black people that were slaves in Africa. So, when I bring up what this man did on American soil in the American way, you can't deny that. Regardless of whoever say somewhere else, because everywhere else ain't the one we trying to get reparations from. Everywhere else ain't the one we trying to get critical race theory in the schools with. We talking about on this soil. So, yeah, you telling the truth, but it still ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about.
Okay. Cassandra, you say you wanted to say something, Cassandra? Who else wanted to say something?
Right, Miss Kurt.
I think Kurt.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Now we can't forget Toya with a T. Now Toya, she waiting patiently, but she gotta have an opportunity to talk as well. Toya, I didn't forget about your sister. But go ahead.
I'll tell you what. I tell you what. Toya is a woman, a consummate queen.
Absolutely.
Let her and Cassandra go first.
Okay. Toya with a T.
Right. So Rico was going where I wanted to go. So we already know that, hey, we can go back to the slavery days. To the Pharaoh days with slavery. But I think the point of the matter is like what Rico said, the brutality and the atrociousness of what they've done on American soil is the issue. Right. And I think we need to zone back in on that when we look at the Constitution that was written to kind of keep those things at bay, and they did it again. So you can talk about Africa all you want to. If Africa did not have the same constitutional values and rights that we have, it still doesn't make a difference on what happened over here. Now, let's just say, we want to talk about the African slaves or European slaves. There's no documented evidence that they were brutalized the way the Americans did the black slaves that came over here. This conversation is happening for a reason. Hey, let me tell you something. Men rape women all the time. That's what you're gonna tell your daughter, something like that? Oh, this is what they do all the time. Oh, you shouldn't have them short pants on. No. I like where are we going? And like to what someone said earlier, that is what helped contributes us black people to staying in the same place. Because even when you have the blood of our ancestors and what they went through, let me tell you something. The story of what we went through as black people is everywhere. And when you have that run through your blood and your soul, and you can still come up with some kind of ideology as if there's an excuse for it, or it's acceptable, or everyone else does it, why can't we? We are never going to be free, some of us, because I'm sorry that this sounds like house Negro mentality. I sound like I'm on the Django right now, Samuel Jackson on the line. Yeah, boss, we like slaves, boss. Yeah, that's better than Negroes than me. No. The fact of the matter is that a human, no human, I don't care if they was in Cucamonga, Antarctica, you don't get to drag no people nowhere. Do what you want to do. Beat on them, kill them, destroy them, make them build your life, make all this money. Think at the end of the day, there are no consequences behind it. The universe is shifting, and we deserve reparations because human beings do not get the right to drag other human beings, kill them, murder them, slaughter them, have them build everything, and then sit on their fat behinds and wonder why they flat. Come on with the jokes. So for all the black people that have this mentality, listen, we are never going to get ahead because the black people that are in between us and the white man, they always going to keep them down. And they don't want to get in that field. So long as they don't want to be them Negroes to be in the field, we're going to have this problem. And this is why we need to break away from America. Forget them, forget their values, forget their laws, forget their constitutional rights. We need to get our own land and do our own thing because this mentality is not just a white man's mentality.
Leonard, are you there, Leonard? Leonard, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, can I get you to read what
A lot of conservative African defenders of slave groups are tools of white supremacy because their main goal is to divide black power, and it's working.
what do you say to that?
Well, I'll definitely address that issue because, first of all, you're dealing with two things. The reparation is for the slavery. Then there are systems that occurred after slavery as well. This is not just for slavery. In order to pay this bill, this is why it's going to have to be perpetual. Critical race theory supports this permanence of racism. Like I said, the Holocaust is over with. The permanence of racism is the issue because it's still continuing today. It's still happening. You still have laws and things on the book that allow for it. You still have contracts and covenants that are often used this way, especially dealing with HOAs. I'll use HOAs, for instance, in some areas. So what people have to understand, Jim Crow was after slavery. So you have to compensate for Jim Crow as well. All you done, you gonna pay for. And if it takes the lives of your great grandchildren to do it, you gonna do it. The Americans, that needs to happen.
Leonard,
So say
Leonard,
for
I'm glad you
instance,
brought that up.
Hold on,
we
Curtis.
have certain cities.
Hold on, Curtis.
We have certain cities that have already approached are trying out different ways to provide for African Americans. For instance, I'm really interested in what Evanston, Illinois is about because they're actually doing those things that they feel would benefit those people who live in that city who are African Americans. Okay? Because they can control that. So this is what they're doing in that city. They're proposing the $25,000 per eligible resident, right? Just for housing. So if I'm an African American and I'm looking for a house, guess what? Due to reparations, I can get $25,000 towards the purchase of that home. Why? Because people who look like me have been discriminated against in the housing market. based on the color of my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a descendant of slavery. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's these things that you are repairing. I understand the issue with our brothers with the descendants of slaves because, one, they use that terminology because you all have tricked people with the minority verbiage.
Uh-huh.
That's the whole purpose of these reparations must be non-competing. I'm not competing with Mexicans for African-American reparations.
Mm-hmm.
You can say you're giving money to HBCUs, but if everybody else can apply for it for their own reason, that takes away from the reparation for HBCUs. You will never repair the HBCU situation if you keep taking the money you saying on TV allocated for HBCUs and then allowing Mexicans and Chinese and everybody else to get in it because they fit the description of minority.
Mm-hmm. Good deal, good deal. Cassandra, we got a couple of people on the phone line just called in. I want to touch each and every one of y'all. Y'all, please be patient with me. I'm going to get to each and every one of you. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
By the way, women are minorities. And they ain't even really minorities, are they? But they women.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra?
Hey. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. These are mine. Yeah. Okay, I'm on set. Can you go to somebody else? I'm gonna come back in a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'm on set. Cassandra.
Okay, let me go to Curtis. Curtis, you wanted to say something, brother? And we got a few people just calling on the phone, and I'm gonna touch you. I'm coming to you all next, and then we're gonna circle our way back around. So everybody, I'm gonna touch everybody. So be patient with me. And Badger, we hadn't even touched Badger yet. And Badger, I know you're there, man. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Curtis, Curtis, what's on your heart?
First, let me say.
Into your phone, Curtis. Into your phone, Curtis. Into your phone for me, brother.
First.
Go ahead.
Let me say.
Mm-hmm.
If is a big two-letter word.
Mm-hmm.
Because if is a word used to negate. If is a word that can be used to negate what is true. If you see how it insinuates that there's a possibility it could be other. If says I don't believe. But anyway, so when you speak in terms of reparations, there's a couple things that I need folks that Leonard just touched on, and it's in that document that I sent you that was on my local news. If you pay attention, don't it say somewhere in there about social programming or something? Social programs or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that if there's only 120,000 left, they are old now, right? So the social programming that you're going to institute is not going to really benefit them on the back end because they're in the back end now. It's going to benefit those who follow them, right? So is that not a form of reparations? But anyway, I'm going to say this, man. To my brother, there's maybe 4 documents you need to read. Because when you think about critical race theory, in my mind and in what I've studied and what I've heard about and what I've seen, critical race theory is a theory used to define the disenfranchisement of the African American community in the institutions of America. If you don't believe what I'm saying, read these 4 things. When you get a chance, read the Willie Lynch letter first. After you read the Willie Lynch letter, read the 3/5 clause in the Constitution. After you read the 3/5 clause in the Constitution, then read the Kerner Report, which was wrote almost 200 years after the Constitution. While you're reading all 3 of those, the Willie Lynch letter, the 3/4 clause in the Constitution, and the Kerner Report, while you're reading that, read 1 page of a book called The Bullwhip Days. That'll give you a full explanation. If you don't understand American slavery and what it caused and why people should be compensated to some degree in some form or the other, then you just don't want to understand. You just don't want to understand. It's just that simple.
Okay.
And lastly, lastly, I'll say this, man. At the end of the day, man, my professor told me in cross-cultural perspectives, he said there's two cultures in this country that probably will never receive reparations because the country can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
He said the indigenous Indians and the African Americans. They really can't afford it. So it does not surprise me, Raheem, when you couldn't give a number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to my phone lines, man. Got quite a few people on the hold. You know, before I do that, let me go to Badger. Then I go to my phone lines. People on the phone line, hold on for 1 second for me. Be patient with me, please. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
What's on your heart, brother?
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
Boy, this is a touchy one. Um,
Like I say, good morning.
Morning.
Yes,
Woke
sir.
up, hopped on immediately, and I went, wait a minute, I should have got coffee first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about the repairs.
Reparations and critical race theory.
Oh, critical race theory, I do have a lot of interest in. The repairs, I'm very cautious about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see people fall for the same trap that my Native American brothers and sisters have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've read the document that's surrounding it, and it's it's really close to the same thing. Just because the government says they're going to do something, or if they do it, don't think they ain't going to do something in return that's going to affect grandkids and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So they give that. I call it repairs because I have a hard time saying the word that Raheem said.
Reparations. Yeah, I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
Well, just letting the listeners know.
Mm-hmm.
It goes with my Native heritage. I debate every day. Should I get my Native American card or should I not? Because if I get the card, I'm going along with what the government's been doing to my people for generations upon generations. Yet at the same time, if I don't have it, I can't practice the culture that has been passed down to me by my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I get it and form into what the government expects a Native American to be, or don't get it and can't walk the path that I was taught growing up.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
So well, let me rephrase that. I can walk the path to a degree. I just have to do it within all of the regulation and laws of the American government.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
So I'm just very cautious because I know the government lies. I know the government does some really shady stuff when it comes to groups of people.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. We got quite a few people on the phone. I'm going to go down the list right now, and the next one on the list that's been holding on for a minute is Tucson. Good morning, brother. Tell everybody who you are, where you're hailing from.
Some confused states. That's where I'm hailing
Man, what do you think about
Man, you know what?
Yes, sir.
Never happened.
Never happened?
No, I don't think so. Not in my time, not in my grandchildren's time.
Now, they just gave reparations. Curtis, what's that situation, man? To the
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they gave reparations to them.
Yeah, some people.
What? Hey?
Wait.
No, what was you saying, Raheem? I'm sorry.
They gave the reparation. What was that you sent me on? What was that to the Jews?
Okay.
For the Holocaust.
If you read what I sent you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The I think it's called HSC or HSF or something like that, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the Holocaust survivors case, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you read 3 bullets that was posted on the local news I think it's that second bullet that says,
Mm-hmm.
I think second bullet that says something about social programs. But you gotta see it. I got it in my phone, brother. Just bear with me. I know we on a 3-minute clause here.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear. It says distribute to 300 social welfare organizations globally. So that means that distributed, that is $720 million to the Holocaust survivors globally. Distributed to 300 social welfare organizations globally. So basically what that's saying is they're going to give an additional $720 million globally to the Holocaust survivors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a part of the 720 million will be evenly distributed to 300 different social welfare organizations, meaning that they're going to spread that money out, and then those social welfare organizations will then distribute that money into the areas that's needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's just the 720. You're not even talking about, it says approximately 120,000 impoverished survivors will benefit. So now if you're saying 120,000 will benefit, and you look at, okay, the date of today, you go back to World War II, right? The survivors, if you was to really gauge an age of the time that they went through the Holocaust, the average survivor is probably between 1 and 7. Because most of the others, that's why less than 20,000 of them left. 10 million died. So if you got 10 million who died and you got 120,000 left, that's basically 1%. So you can kind of gauge, or you can look at the stats and say, okay, those are the groups that was like between 1 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because the likelihood of anybody older than that still alive that lived through the Holocaust is slim.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying is that $720 million is going to go to these 120,000 survivors.
Okay.
But what they're doing is they put it around the globe where they are in these social welfare programs. Means they'll be able to give that to their younger, their children, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And or the programs will be offered to their younger children, because guess what? They are the products of the Holocaust. They are the surviving relatives of a survivor of the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, like we talking about reform and things of that nature, they're telling you that they're going to distribute this to social welfare organizations. So that means that somebody has created social welfare policy that governs the Holocaust and Holocaust survivors. That is a form of reparations. Here's a final thing that I like to say, and I'm not making this up. You can't make this up.
Wrap it up for me, Curtis. Mm-hmm.
This is the last statement I'm going to say. The first group to receive reparations in American history were slave owners.
Mm. Wow.
It's funny to me that the people that are speaking against reparations are the same people that receive reparations. Read the Kerner report.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Pete, my brother Pete. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing good this morning, DKM radio panel listening audience. How y'all doing this morning with the Morning Glow?
Hey, doing good, man. We getting a little deep, getting a little deeper and a little deeper here. Deeper, that's a word, brother. I made it up this morning. I'm putting it in the dictionary tomorrow. But what do you say about the reparations and critical race theory?
Critical race theory breaking down the systematic application and function of bias, prejudice, negligence, abuse, refusing to allow to exist, to participate, and explaining it so that it can be comprehended, and then its vestiges, effects in society presently today. something that's needed for clarity and truth. We have the Ukraine right now fighting for their sovereignty as a nation, having been annexed out of the former USSR, and a good portion of the world is supporting them in their efforts to remain a sovereign nation and maintain their collective freedom as a people in a bound out latitude, longitude area known as a nation. That was not afforded to the natives. That was not afforded to those that were brought here as slaves. The bottom line is, when you commit an offense, unjust, unwarranted assault or injury, there's a claim. The law is clear. So we have a long-standing, lawful, and legal, and the two aren't the same thing, claim.
Mm-hmm.
And period. It has to be addressed. The damages that are happening now, we go back and back and back and talk about slavery and yesterday. Let's talk about the injuries that are presently being incurred today by the same folk, to the same people. And it's very likened to a present form of slavery. So for us to talk about reparations, the repairing of damage done that is still being incurred, that's to any sane, sound, truthful-minded individual. The problem is power, prestige, profit, and not wanting to come up off of it, to leave it, to render it to someone else. When we talk about the amount is clear. Everything. It's everything. It's the teeth in your mouth, the clothes on your back. It's everything. The only way I could describe real, true, godly, lawful, legal reparations for melanated people in this country by the offenders who have committed the offense in a society, the system, the government and structure, and the corporate structure of the government that continues to commit these egregious offenses presently today, is to strip down butt naked, take any feelings of anything in your mouth out, leave everything related to you here, and swim your narrow-minded devil self away from here.
Wow. Let's go to
that's what you owe.
Public
and
citizen.
to the Negro, hold on, let me get out your way 2 seconds. And to the Negroes that are not clear, the Negroes, the need to grow, the Negroes that are not clear about opposition as a collective body and want to side with the other side against opposition, which is obvious, you are an enemy of yourself, of truth, of God, of us as a people. And understand, in warfare, the traitors die first. So do us a favor.
So say it, my big brother.
Kill yourself first to save us the problem on having to do it. And may hell receive you with a well welcome.
Wow. Let me go to public citizen. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Now, if I would have said something like that, I'd have got straightened out.
Now, you right now you've been a little rude, brother. Hold on, let's keep this thing going.
Okay.
Public citizen.
How do I follow that up? How do I follow that up? Really? Come on. All right. So, first of all, I'd like to know who's keeping up with the push-up challenge. Anybody? Anybody? Hello?
I think I'm the only one.
I was already doing it anyway, so you know what I'm saying. I'm still on it.
All right. Okay. Good. Yeah, I know. I skipped some days too. You know, life happens. You get busy, and it's hard to keep up. But you got to remind each other. You know, it's good for us.
Exactly.
So a lot, man. There's a lot of topics here, and these are topics I like to debate and talk about. I've had a lot of debates with conservatives, white conservatives, about reparations. So I know where this conversation goes. I think kind of Leonard kind of has the best take on it because, you know, they're going to come up with, you know, it didn't happen to you. Slavery didn't happen to you. That's basically the talking point from white conservatives. But what did happen to you and your family is systemic racism, Jim Crow,
redlining, all this stuff, right? So that's how you can win that argument. If you're going to go to the slavery argument, they got a million arguments against you, and that's why this argument's so unpopular. I did want to touch on the ADOS thing. So in my comment, I said that there's groups that define themselves as ADOS, and a lot of them are funded by white nationalist groups, white supremacists. One of the biggest YouTube channels that promotes this is this guy named the Black Authority, and he's one of the most racist people I've ever heard. Like if you there'll be a Caribbean immigrant or an African immigrant calls into his show and is asking him, well, why are you, your rhetoric is anti-black because you're only focusing on ADOS. And he'll use racial slurs to them. He'll clown them. He'll use anything a Klansman would say, this guy would say, right? So I'm saying the pro-reparations movement is infiltrated, okay? You can do your research. A lot of people are with me. I'm not the only one who feels this way. I think reparations are due. It's very unpopular. As Toussaint said, I don't think it's going to happen in a lifetime. It's due, but, CRT, I'm a teacher. I don't think first graders should be, thinking about their white privilege. That seems inappropriate to me. If we're talking about high school, it's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, if anyone wants to debate white conservatives, hit me up.
Good deal. Michael, good morning. How you doing this morning? Michael, you there? Michael may be away from his phone. Rico, talk to me, brother.
First, Don still on, man, because he got started and never did get finished, man. And I was actually looking forward to hearing what he had to say.
No,
what direction he was going in, if he could remember.
No, he had to jump off for a second.
Okay. Well, I listened to that guy, Black Authority, and Public Citizen hit it on the head, man. He tricked me. Pete said earlier about how people are used as tools, but not with Public Citizen, how people are used as tools for the Conservative Party. He's one of them, like Candace Owens. They'll say some things every now and then that sounds like, black empowerment, black justice. Then they'll come right back and start doing everything they can to divide the black community. When I tell you that man comes at everybody, man, he even criticizes the civil rights leaders. And everybody from that era. I listened to him one night. I was like, oh, he's sounding good. And all of a sudden, everybody that was older, he just knocked them down and stepped on them so rudely. And then you know how it is when you the host, you got the microphone. You're going to be louder than anybody else anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So he overtalked the people, man, and told them that they just need to die. What did the civil rights era do for us? Y'all civil rights niggas need to do that. I was like, wait a minute.
Shit. Okay. Wow. Oh.
Hey.
He's an agent. So that what Public Citizen was saying was true. You got a lot of people that's in this system or in this field speaking on black empowerment or whatever, or black improvement, but really and truly they playing for the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we start talking about reparations, another reason why it shouldn't just be financial is because once again it's about race and it evolved. Now, descendants of slaves are one thing, but it evolved so much to the point to where everybody that was black sooner or later started being discriminated against. See, you got Africans and Haitians and Jamaicans that come over here and go through the same thing we go through. They ain't even got to open their mouth. They just look like us. So guess what? They probably going to be assumed to be black.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you have Nigeria, you name it, everybody still has that white supremacy that they have to go through, that white supremacy racism. So when you start talking about repairing and reforming, you want to also put something in place that protects them from the system of racism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you really want to go back and fix everything, just go back and flip the script and do everything you did for white people for 400 years for black people and see how fair that is. If you say that ain't fair, then that lets you know that something needs to be done about the past.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't cool back then either.
Mm-hmm.
So that, you know, I mean, it's very easy. You know, I don't care what kind of argument they come up with. You weren't slaves. You weren't a descendant. You can come up with whatever you want to. Just tell them, look, let's just make laws and let's just make positions and government positions and titles that say black only. Give us 400 years to run the show. Give us 400 years of privilege and entitlement and free will to just do what we want to y'all. No consequence. Give us 400 years to make profits and not share them. Give us 400 years to start a country, start from the bottom with a small foundation and make so much profit off these people back that we become the most powerful country on the planet. So powerful that we have to lie and make people think that we have competition in Russia and China. We can look at the war now and tell Russia ain't nothing for us. They having a problem with Ukraine. But for years, we've been having to believe that they are this big bad guy that competes with us. So America needs to keep its dominance and its superiority and this and that. The whole time, they just playing games with us.
Good, yeah.
And the reason why we do have that power and control, once again, the bottom line is America is the most powerful country on the planet. And one of the youngest, along with Israel, even younger and smaller, one of the most powerful. One of the richest economically. And it all happened because you got free labor to start from the bottom and make it to the top that fast. That means you had to actually just have people that you manipulated and abused and just didn't pay, didn't treat equally. You just reaped all the benefits and profits from these people. So yeah, something got to be owed. If it wasn't anything wrong with it and it doesn't affect what's going on today, well, let's just go back to the old ways and make it everything black only.
Good deal. Good deal. Gonna keep this thing going. We got quite a few people on the phone line. Definitely want to touch each and every one of them. Leonard, what's on your heart? Charles, be on standby, brother. Come to you next. Leonard?
Some excellent points of. Can you hear me, Raheem?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now. There you go.
Okay, I think people are putting forth excellent points of view, and you can't be narrow-minded in this. This is a human project that must continue as long as humans walk the face of this earth, and there is no more racism. Now, white folks, you can still hate black people, but you just don't get to have the job to control them. That's all. That's all. This is what you have to do. And if you're not going to be a part of the effort, no one's taking anything from you at all.
Well, I think we lost Leonard there for a second. Leonard, you there?
Why are you against reparations? That's what's most important. And you against it because you've been against black people. You've been against a struggle. You've been wanting to turn your back and ignore everything that has happened. And some of them will even act like it didn't happen. Kurt just told you who got paid first. They already got paid. Now, if you're going to pay them, set me free, what do you think I deserve if I was the slave? Because I'm the victim. See, and that's one thing that America has to think about. Why is it so necessary for you to continually oppress black people this way? And every person in a position of authority who supports this must be removed. For example, after the Civil War with Reconstruction, if you were serious about what it was, and this is how you break down that argument as it relates to why the Civil War happened and everything like that, and Abraham Lincoln's part in that, they still allowed Southern states to do and treat black people any way they wanted to. They allowed them to be governors. They still allowed them to serve as representatives. The enemy, that's what they allowed them to do. So one, they weren't really against what was going on. That was just a part of it. So we have to look at that. And even the richest black person in America deserves reparations because they fit the description of those that were injured.
Mm-hmm.
My big brother pointed it out so eloquently.
Good.
Thank you, Pete, for coming on and doing that.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
Why
Good
are
deal.
you against reparations?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you gonna know the heart of that person. I don't care who it is. I don't care what color they are. If you against racial reparations, you're an awful human being.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to Charles. Charles, what's on your heart, brother? I tried to go to Michael, brother.
I don't think
you heard what I say? Hold on, Charles. I tried to go to Michael, man. I don't know what happened to him, man. He didn't answer, and then
probably, he probably at work. Your APD, so he probably at work, just trying to listen in.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm with Toussaint on this, man. If reparations come around, then good. I'm not fighting for it. Just like most veterans on here didn't fight for veterans benefit, but they take advantage of them. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Certain fights are not your fight, and I'm not going to fight against people, but I do believe, even the way they do veterans, as of in, if you're a grandparent, if you're the granddaughter of a World War II veteran, you get this, or if you get this or that. That's reparations to me also. So I think they can do the same thing with ancestors of slaves. If you're the granddaughter or great granddaughter, you should get these things, or you should get these. Like I think Leonard was saying, some people get like a certain percentage of money for a house. That's fair. But as for me sitting around going back and forth about it, I can understand the argument. But I put it in the sense of just like I didn't fight for veteran benefits, but I take advantage of it, and most of you all do too, because I doubt if a lot of us was on those veteran benefit panels, but we take advantage of them. I feel the same way. We need it, but I'm not going to sit here and waste my breath and fight about it. I understand. I'm not going to fight against it either. And as for the critical race theory, I'll look into it more. But if it's anything, usually how I look at stuff, if a white liberal, and that's just me, is for it, I got to look into it because I might be against it.
Okay.
Raheem,
yes.
The ideology behind that type of thinking is called freeloading, by the way.
Well, are you saying a freeloader, you was a freeloader because you took advantage of the veterans benefits, but you didn't do anything for it? So that means
yeah, freeloading is, I'll give you a better example. Freeloading is, say for instance, public broadcasting.
You can't do one without the other, man.
One at a time, brothers. One at a time.
It's free to everybody. However, everyone doesn't support it, but they get to enjoy listening to it, and a dedicated few send donations for it.
It's the same thing.
But you still
is that not the same thing?
My thing is, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna get into that with y'all, man. Y'all got y'all own.
The same thing.
Y'all got y'all own.
If you didn't fight for veterans benefits, why are you taking advantage of it? Because you freeloaded.
Y'all not pulling me into that. Let me go to
Come on, man.
I'm not getting into that, man. Let me see. Toya with a T. Talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? I'm trying to go to Cassandra. Cassandra, let me know when you're available. Toya?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. It's funny how we see different point of views.
Yeah.
You know, I know I wasn't in slavery, but I have the ability to empathize. Just like I have the ability to empathize right now with Ukraine about to be in the war. And empathize with the thought that if that were us, then we done been there, we done that. And you're right, some things just happen in order for us to be on top. So, I can rationalize all these things as a human, right? But when we stop and act like we don't know what we really talking about here, see, that's when it becomes a problem. Mm-hmm. The denial on the right thing to do. We can play games, we play these laws. There are laws on the books that we violate every day, and we just numb to it. And there's a lot of laws that say that when you assume the position of authority, as the people of America did, and you operate and run a nation or business, when it comes to mistreatment, inequality, and things of that nature, abuse, we've grown to see that it ain't right. You don't do that to other humans. And when we find that we've done that in error, then we go back and we make a reparation for it, which is kind of, our Jews kind of got things in money, because we acknowledge that as the leaders of the world, we were wrong, that wasn't right. We're going to try to make this right. Money don't fix it, but we see that's what you humans do. The love of it, how y'all doing everything. But we're going to give you this because we noticed the wrong in our atrociousness, and then we need to acknowledge that over here as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we pulling stuff up with stuff right now from Russia. Right? Now, let me tell you something. We may fight and scrap over here, right? But we're not going to be having no war. We're running around killing people no more. TV's going away from that. And when we see that we are wrong, we make a reparation for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what America is doing. America is following its own law right now and not being a perpetrator.
Mm-hmm.
They were perpetrators. I don't know slavery, but they had the most slaves. But I'm going to leave that alone. They are making amends for the wrong that they've done. They're supposed to have did that a long time ago, but we still humans. We still gonna walk around and play games like we don't know what we're talking about, right? We still gonna hide behind these phony laws and all this stuff here and stop and acknowledge that every single last human on this planet, whether you're in a position of authority or not, you need to get rid of that funky little spirit that make you feel like you don't want nobody to have anything, and acknowledge the fact that when we're wrong, we need to make do. And the only thing we can come close by doing is paying you back with something, because we're sorry and we understand what is done, and we can't take nothing back, but we can try to help you move forward. And what other things can we do to move you guys forward? And that's it. Anything other than that, if you don't understand that, then we can't. How can you empathize with your daughter that was raised then?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen to you. How can you empathize with your maybe gender sexual child that gets treated like black people used to get treated, drugged and beat up and hung and killed? It's not you. So why you feel some kind of way? So, we really just got to be careful sometimes, when it comes to things that have happened to other people, man. Like, for real. A lot of people have lost their loved ones due to a bunch of atrocities, and we all hurt the same that they're not here, and nothing fixes it. But we got to get back on track as human beings first and foremost, and just have a little bit of empathy and try to fix this thing and move forward.
Absolutely. Toussaint is back with us. Donna Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm playing the violin.
Play it loud, brother. Let us hear it. Play it loud.
You know how the guy sits there and he just plays this sweet music that calm everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
And until something else happens, and the violin is useless.
Mm-hmm.
Listen why I say that. Because oppressed people have babies, plenty of them.
Mm.
Let's just think about this thing. And I'm just thinking I'm the last of 12 children. My uncles I got one uncle had 21.
Mm.
I know a family had 23.
Mm.
My auntie is one of 8. There's another one that had 11.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that were parents and grandparents of people that had 10 and 12 children.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to do the math. And Curtis says something, they can't afford to do it. People don't do what they know they can't afford to do. I don't think they do.
Mm-hmm.
I know they try. But when you do the math, when it really comes down to it, you still don't come out with $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this time, you mean to tell me you're gonna write me a check for all of this time, and you're gonna split it between all my brothers and sisters and my kindreds and my acquaintances and all of these my cousins and my nieces and my nephews, and you're gonna split this money, and you're finally gonna come out with the common denominator, and you're still gonna be broke.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time, you got these crooked people that we vote for that get theirs off the top.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
These governors and these mayors and these police departments, you got to split between them. Hey, you got to be protected since you're gonna come into all of this money, and then the bank's gonna rob you. And at the end of the day, the thing about it is we're not gonna do right by it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put it right back in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I say it'll never happen because this country is not trying to show any justice, not to us.
Yeah.
And who is us? Badger is one of the us.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he is. I mean, yeah. There are some people that they have done it for, but there are some people that are determined not to show any because they don't think much of them at all.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. You said that. You said that. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Wow. My opinion, sometimes I think I'm just too white to get anything. Just because of how I look, anyway. Doesn't matter what my genes are. I've gotten to the point where
After blood in you. I'm sorry, man.
what were you saying, Donald?
Don't wear a feather. Don't wear a feather while you're trying to get yours. You'd be in trouble.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
So, at this point, or at least the way I've been looking at things, is yes, the repair should be very awesome and help a lot of families catch up or have the potential to get caught up and, be able to possibly purchase land or homes and all kinds of things for their families that their great grandparents could have been able to have the ability to do if it wasn't for the fact of slavery and Jim Crow laws. It'd be really awesome if the stuff that was happening to the natives wasn't happening. At this point, I just want to fight for equality across the board, equality and living wages. To me, that solves more problem. That has the potential to solve more problems than create.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be offended and upset and, well, we have to raise the taxes because, we gave the descendants of black slaves, money, and then it's going to piss off this whole group of people, and we're going to continue fighting over the same nonsense, which is greed and selfishness by the greedy and selfish people. And I'm not saying that people that are wanting repairs are that way. That is not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at this point, yes, it'd be amazing. However, if everyone had an opportunity to make a living wage instead of receiving repairs, which means there's no judgment. If they go to a job, they get a job. Even the flipping a burger job can give you enough, as long as you're working full time. Like, you have to put the devotion in there and you have to work the hours. You can pay rent with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal.
That would be awesome to see.
As I wanted to mention, Raheem, as I talked to oh, my fault, I couldn't hear you, Raheem. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and this is the problem that we have. What Badger said. It ain't nothing about that.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with reparations.
We
are not looking for equality as it relates to reparations. That's not this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
white folks are not entitled to reparations because they were not injured by racism.
Okay.
So their needs and wants and issues are not relevant to the conversation of reparations. If I shot somebody across town, that's between me and the person I shot across town. That ain't got nothing to do with who shot somebody else on the other side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Your case is separate. Your case goes before the court because it deals with you as the victim. White folks ain't the victim, so they're not due. White folks can get what everything they need if they simply voted different. Think about it. You're still paying the slave owners who got out of the slave business and got into the other business. The same families that owned the plantations and everything else, all they did was switch how they made money. That's all they did. And you pay that white descendant of a slave master each and every day in America, you pay him. Every single day you pay the white man who held slaves, you still paying them every day.
Corporate America.
You got a whole party dedicated to making sure he's getting his money each and every day. Think about that.
Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good.
If that hurt, heal.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra, are you in a situation where you can talk now?
Yeah, I can.
You can?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's a little low, but I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm, it saddens me when I hear people have a problem with reparation and their reasons, and they try to fix it, and then people talk about, well, I didn't have anything to do with it, and like everyone has said, that made sense to me. The systemic racism and what has happened as a result of slavery has caused generational damage to people of color, to Black people. I mean, generational, passing down generation to generation. And people talk about, and they don't, why do we have to pay? Oh Lord, I want to curse, but I'm not. I'm not. No,
Tucson?
Really, it's really false to think that people actually believe that people should not be paid for building this fucking country and getting nothing in return. But yet the ones built up and got their wealth and done it, and their children have been blessed by the work that we did. And then you talking about, I think that if you just work hard, okay, I'm done.
Wow. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother?
Brandon,
Yes.
I believe we spoke about this one time before. Isn't it some document evidence that when they were about to free the slaves, that the United States had to pay the slave owners X amount of dollars to set them free?
Absolutely.
And that was a type of, technically, what they slipped behind, the type of reparation. So now this is like kind of what they're using, and like, oh, we don't owe y'all, and then some of the slave masters gave y'all land, this, that, and third. That's kind of like what they using as like a background reason to why the Black people shouldn't be getting no money. But my thing is this, right? What's the rule of thumb? If you ain't with me, you against me. So if you don't feel like I should get reparations, then what's wrong to what your stance is? That means you're against me. You cannot be racist and feel like we don't deserve it. That still means you're against me, because there's no way in the world. I mean, my thing is this. If it was okay for what happened to Black people to happen to you and your family, and you stand here as a descendant of it and say that it can be wiped away clean, you don't want anything for it and not fight for it, then I might be able to see you eye to eye. But I still ain't gonna do it, because I know and I believe that's all the right thing to do. And if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. I feel differently. And if I was in a judge and for the law, and I was a judge, and someone did these things to people, and you their great-great-grand people, and that's become, pay them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're okay with those things that happened to us and our ancestors, even though it wasn't me particularly, if you're okay with that happening to you and yours, then hey, let's sit down and talk eye to eye.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Raheem, I forgot to address two sides and this reparations issue. It's not about how you spend the money. It has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what's owed. I don't care if you take it and flush it down the toilet if you get it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about how you spend it as a reason to not grant it.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Can I add to what?
Go ahead.
Add to what Linda just said?
Yes, sir. Talk directly into your phone for me, Curtis.
It is proven that those very same reparations that was given to the owners was also lost at the fair tables in Louisiana, was also spent in the red light district in Louisiana. So it does not matter. Leonard is absolutely right. It does not matter what they do with the money. And a lot of times, what you're going to do with the money is utilized as a means to not give it to you. It's just like when you heard that governor, not only, I want to say 3 months ago, talk about, I don't want to give that, when not the governor, the senator, Joe Manchin. I don't want to give them that because I don't want them to spend it on crack. Who was he talking to? Who was he talking to? But anyway, I'm going to go on and say this.
Keep it real, Kurt. You tell them, Kurt.
I know for a fact that I am a descendant of a slave.
Mm-hmm.
My family's original name rests on the walls at the old slave castle in Barbados. So I know for a fact I'm a descendant of a slave. I also know for a fact that the other of my family were slaves who had some land. And the reason why we could not find out how old my grandmother was because the raiders in black hoods, not white hoods, not burlap sack hoods, black hoods, burned her daddy's house down 3 times, in which the Bible for which her birthday was written and was burned in the first time. So I completely understand where I come from. I completely understand that I also come from Scottish royalty too. All right, so it's funny how sometimes people can use these things to dispel reparations, but then to me will be the first ones to stand in line to get it. They'll be the first ones to collect and have no clue where they come from. You see what I'm saying? So to isolate, and I'm not speaking against anybody on the radio station. I'm speaking globally. For anybody globally to say that African Americans should not receive some form of reparations is foolish. The last thing I'll say is this, Raheem, and I'm gonna end with this. There's 2 specific things that y'all need to read. Stop talking from what you heard and read. The Kerner Report is one of them. Read the studies on intergenerational racism. Intergenerational wealth, correction. Intergenerational wealth said that Raheem, I'll break it down. It said that Raheem is a wealthy landowner in Arkansas. He's a wealthy landowner, white wealthy landowner in Arkansas. Raheem has the ability to send his school to Yale, send his sons, his daughters to Yale. And which, when he sends them to Yale, he also buys land that the African Americans and Indians were not allowed to buy. He buys that land and he puts the land in the name of his daughters and his sons, who he has sent to Yale. So they are already in a wealthy class because they already have money, because they already own property. That property has an estimated wealth that will feed them, their children, and the children behind them. When you freed the slaves was given nothing. So there created a wealth gap between them and us. It was done on purpose. Read the Kerner Report.
Good deal.
Read the studies on intergenerational wealth. It was done on purpose, y'all.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say, look, I'm not even mad at them. When you think about
Kurt, gotta wrap it up, brother.
When you think about playing any kind of game, or when you think about the ideology of success, they did what kept them successful. But now that the rules to the game is out and how the game was being played, if we're trying to correct the game, then let's do it adequately and justly.
Good deal. Stay right there, Kirk. Stay right there, man. Let me keep it moving. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm sorry, y'all.
Man, you know, I agree with a lot of things people are saying on here. I really do. But sometimes when people talk enough, man, it'll let you understand what's really going on with them and how they thinking. And that's understood. Because we all, you know, been through something, or our family's been through something, and we think a certain way because of those things. At one point in time in my life, I really my understanding of the African slave trade, I was upset with Africa. You get what I'm saying? Because of what went on there to make us slaves. And I grew, and I had a better understanding later on. Now I have a business in Africa. So, hey, there you go. But I understand how people go through things and think about things and are pushed towards things. And just because other people are not pushed that way, that doesn't mean that they are not backing you or with you. It's just they're not as interested in it as you are. You understand? And that doesn't mean, that's just like how people say, if you don't think this way, then you're wrong. If you don't think that way, then you're wrong. And the left wing, right wing thing, same difference, man. But we do know, man, like the conversation we was having about freeloading, it goes both ways. It can't go one way. It has to go both ways. Just because you feel a certain way and you don't want to say it doesn't change where it goes. The point is that none of us was here as veterans, went through the thing to make veteran benefits, but we all are capitalizing off of it. We all are. Us veterans who even walk into a store and say, hey, I want a veteran's discount. We're capitalizing off of things that were set up for veteran benefits. Housing, VA, all that stuff, veteran benefits. It's the same way with this.
Hold on, let him finish.
It's the same thing with this, man. If somebody say, hey, I back you, but I can't get in line with you right now because I'm doing something. But if you need me, I'm there, but I back what you're going for, that doesn't mean they're against you. But that doesn't mean they're freeloading anyway, because if they're freeloading now, you're still freeloading also. So either way it goes, a freeloader is a freeloader, no matter where you put it. You can slap slap some lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. You still a freeloader if you call somebody else one, or if that's what you define it as. Either way it goes.
Okay. Good deal. And somebody wanted to say something just then?
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Yeah.
The term that I mentioned you can find that in most textbooks that teach policy and programming, by the way. You can look that up. Here's my issue with people who are against reparations and asking them why that they are against reparations. My form of reparations, guess what? If you black and you against it, you ain't got to take it. But why is it so important to you that I don't get it?
Wow.
Why is it so important that someone don't help me? Why is that so important to you?
I agree with that.
Anyone, ask yourself that question. Why? It's like with homelessness. Why wouldn't you want to help someone that was homeless? Or hungry for that matter? What you got some people looking them down there, feeding them hungry people. A wicked white person actually looked out of a window at a park of homeless people and didn't like looking at them. So with her power, used her power to remove poor people from a place so she didn't have to see them.
Wow.
Wicked.
Wow. Pete, what's on your heart, brother?
Be against feeding people and helping people this way and paying what is owed to them. It hurt you. What in your heart feels so bad about someone helping me?
Helping somebody else. Absolutely. Pete, somebody else wanted to say something just a second ago. Who? Somebody was trying to say something?
I was trying to say, but I don't want to cut in on anybody. But it goes deeper. I don't know. It just goes deeper than slavery because you got sharecropping.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the manipulation of your house value to my house.
Yes, sir.
Because of the neighborhood. And so many different things. Unjust incarceration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's another thing.
Yes, sir.
Incarcerating the innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, you got when they set fire or put cities underwater. How you gonna make up for that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
there's so many different injustices was done, and it's so overwhelming. Like Curtis said, they know they go broke. These rich folks will wind up poor.
Wow. Brother Pete, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Hold on. I got Raheem.
Yes, sir.
I gotta go, Raheem.
Uh-huh.
As I mentioned to you before.
Yes.
But just to address what Donald just said, that's why it's so much. It's not about them going broke. That's a myth. White people ain't gonna go broke because of reparations. That's a big myth. White people lose nothing. Issue. Nothing at all.
It's not taking money out of their bank account.
Do that. They just don't want you to have nothing.
Yeah. It's not taking any money out of their bank account. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Brother Pete, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Appreciate you, Leonard.
That's along the lines that I was gonna go. We're not talking about yesteryear and way back. We're talking about present today. Justice being the prevention of injustice. Now hear me clearly, family. Justice as a principle being the standard that prevents reparations based on injustice. What does that look like? How much injustice has occurred preventing justice? Once injustice occurs, there can be no justice. The injury has already been incurred.
Yeah.
So now how do you fix it? How do you give me 30 years back for incarcerating me for a crime I didn't commit? What are you gonna give me? And then we got 30,000 people, this one every week, being released around the country for a crime that they did not commit. We're not talking about way back 400 years ago. We're talking about 2022.
Yeah.
March 3rd, 2022. The injustices that are taking place now, still, right now, the damage, the injury, the loss of life. What about the health care, the inadequacies in health care, the abuse in health care, the loss of life through health care that happens every day, the negligence in health care every day. Right now, today, not 400 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Right now. What about the stealing of children for medical means? And most of us on here know about a case ourselves where a little girl was taken, hindered to be with her parent for some pharmaceutical companies to make money worth $500 million to them.
Yep.
That's only a couple of years ago that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
Right now, the injuries that are happening. And you mean to tell me that what's right, what's just, what's true should not be established as a principle and enforced, specifically regarding this class that continues to incur injuries?
Wow.
Now, if you can't see that, you're not even a human. You're not a part of humanity. Your conscience is seared. You don't have one. And me personally, I don't think you should be around alive on earth nowhere or in the universe.
Wow.
If you can't see that.
Exactly. Cassandra, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting ready. I have to go on set in a minute. But listen, my thought is this. There were Black people when slaves were released. There were Black families that got acreage, right? Why is it that almost every black family that got acreage, a friend of mine, her family right here in Boulder, Georgia, some little small county, her grandfather, great grandfather had 100 and something acres of land that he was working. They literally lynched him, and the whole family had to run for their life so that they could take over that property. And to this day, they have never gotten any reparations for that. This happened all over the South. This happened all over the South. What we had was taken. Even when they gave it to us, white men came and took it.
Mm-hmm.
And their families were never able to get that land back. What the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's what's going on modern day today. Just let me join you. The black farmers got the $1 billion settlement. They ain't getting no money. They ain't getting no money yet. Now, today. We're talking about now. Today.
Yep.
These clowns just passed an anti-lynching bill. Oh, thank you so much. You 50 plus years late. But thank you so much.
Wow. Wow.
This is what I'm saying. We ain't talking about slavery way back then. We're talking about right now. Right now, today. Right now. You can't see it? Then maybe when I stick this pistol in your mouth, you will see it.
Wow.
Maybe you'll see it out the back of the hole of your head when I blow the back of your head out. Maybe you'll see it. Because that's what you deserve. What we're encountering now. We ain't talking about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have a conversation with somebody, especially somebody that looks like us, and you can't see it. Negro, you ain't justified to be alive if you can't see it. And that's what it is. And it don't matter if you don't agree with me. And it don't matter of agreeing with me. It's a matter of agreeing with what's right. It ain't my standard. It's the standard of truth. You can't see that? Man, your life should fit. If you can't see that. Y'all don't remember Harry Belafonte said, ain't nothing left to do but burn it down. Burn it down.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that?
Absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
playing with your life in today's time as a melanated person, and especially somebody that calls themselves black, African American, Negro, colored, whatever. And you can't see this? Well, your life is in jeopardy. You better not get caught in the wrong spot, because you already qualified for termination by your own, by the way you think, by the mess that come out your mouth. You know that. They don't playing around with you Negroes no more. We've been dealing with this for way too long and accepting you clowns for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm telling all of y'all, you ain't got no reason to be here on earth alive. Nowhere. We shouldn't give you no refuge.
Wow.
Fuck these Negroes that think like that. Find them. Terrorize. Drag them down through there. Chase them off the planet. Today.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I tell you, y'all think today is hot. Y'all wait till tomorrow. Y'all wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be something. Tomorrow's gonna be something serious. Huh?
What's your cash at?
Exactly. Willa.
1-800 clear out all the Negroes.
.com.
With a dollar sign.
.com. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, Morning Glow crew. I was just listening, and my opinion of people being reprimanded for things that they have been done wrongly too. If that's what they feel that would help them get to the next stage of a level of their life, so be it. But there are so many things, like one gentleman said, there are so many things that you can add to that. People that have been in jail a long time, wrongly been there. How you gonna compensate that? And somebody's child who you have taken off the street, how you gonna, make that right?
Mm-hmm.
But not only has it taken our finances, but I just heard the gentleman that was on the line, and I just hear the anger and the bitterness that he has in his, in his character and who he is. How would you take that away with a piece of paper, a dollar sign? Some mothers just even want justice for their children, who have been killed by black on black crime. Because it takes me back there. We've lost so much. We lost the vision and separation. We've lost so much. How can we get that back? And the only thing that I can say is that we know our history. We know our history, just like I tell my children. We know the things that has been done to us wrongly. Tell me, what can I do to make it right, to move forward? Because you can keep carrying it with you all the way to the day you die. But what's going to change?
Exactly.
The only thing that should change is that we can become a better people.
Yes.
Don't look like them. You becoming like them. You want to destroy them. You want to do other things just like them. You're not doing anything different than they are. Let's become better as a people. Let's get together more as a people. Teach our children how to become better men and better women, not to become just like them. And that's how I think and believe we can honor our ancestors, those who fought for the things where we are now. We got kids that don't even want to go to school. We got people that don't even want to vote. And people have died for those things. So don't tell me that a piece of paper is going to change your mind or your feelings about what somebody did to you in the past wrongly through your ancestors. Because you're not doing anything for today. And that's me. That's my comment.
I got a friend of mine, and I'm not gonna go to Rico because I know he fired up right now hearing Willa talk like that, boy. I know he fired up. I ain't even gonna go to Rico right now.
I ain't fired up. I ain't fired up. Don't assume that.
Okay. Okay. All right, good deal. I got a friend that used to say, don't become the very thing that you hate. He's always say, don't become the very thing that you hate. Badger, you wanted to say something, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah. While the conversation was going on, I decided to look all that stuff back up to see where it's currently at. It ain't moved nowhere. Matter of fact, this same thing's been being put up since 2005, and I think before that. I looked all the way back to 2005 at least, for now. And I heard someone say, vote Democrat and all that, and I found something very interesting. Would you like to know what group of people are primarily co-sponsoring how do you pronounce it?
Reparations.
Yeah, the commission to study if reparations are needed. Hey, I said it. Cool. Sorry. Republicans. There was one Democrat. 196 co-sponsors. One Democrat.
Wow.
I'm sitting there and I'm looking at that. And then I look at the equality and things like that where the Democrats are voting, but the reparations is being co-sponsored by Republicans. And it makes me wonder what's really going on. Because here are these group of people that are known most of the time to be primarily for the money. Yet they're co-sponsoring something for like 12 million. It was 1 million. It's gone up to 12 million. So that's a cool part. Yeah. Here's this other group of people that are trying to push and do all these things. The wild part to me is I think y'all deserve it because Native people got it to some degree. The Jewish people got it to some degree from Germany and things like that. What I'm looking at is not only if it goes through and once all that happens, what's next? And the part that scares me the most is if Republicans are voting for that and against the other stuff that we're trying to fight for on the side, what exactly does that mean?
Public Citizen said it was, I'm gonna come to you, Cassandra. Public Citizen said it was one Democratic because the Republicans know it is not a decision-making committee. That's what Public Citizen said. Go ahead, Cassandra.
Yeah. I want to say this, and I don't mean any harm to anybody, but we say we're Christians, so let's just go back to the Bible. The Bible says that the kingdom of God suffered violence, and the violence taketh by force. all throughout the Bible, there were fights about different things, about righteousness. And guess what? I mean, I'm talking about wars, physical fights where people were being killed. Entire people were destroyed because God said, wipe them out. So I understand kumbaya and let's all get along and let's love on each other and be good to each other. I love that because I'm all for that. That's what I fight for every day. But the bottom line is, stop making God like he's just, he don't do, we know the Bible. We know the Bible. Just read the Bible. Read how many fights were for righteous. I mean, where people died. Entire people died. And we keep acting like the only way anything will be solved is if we talk and kumbaya and hold hands with somebody. That's not true. That's not even biblical. So I mean, you know, that's just we got to do better with that. Because I hate when people act like God. That's the only way God operates. Only in that vein, where he's talking, he's actually good and kind to people. No, he had hundreds of thousands of people killed in war.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Bishop, good morning, sir. The good Bishop. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I just been sitting here listening. Pete stirred me up. I love Pete. I love the way Pete brought it. I'm not against anything or anybody, but I'll tell you, Cassandra just topped it off with the icing on the cake. That kumbaya, and I'm right, yeah, I'm bishop and preacher and saint or whatever you want to call me. I don't have that kumbaya approach. And yeah, give me my money. Give me the money that y'all deprived my family of. You sold my cousins and my aunts into slavery, and then you separate families. You beat them and you hang them. Now, I'm going to be better than you, but I'm going to be better than you when I get that money. But one thing I'm not going to do, I'm going to take that approach, mean non-existent, yeah, because you're not standing up for yourself. You're not sending a message. That's why they have the Indians walk from Florida all the way up to Oklahoma, and they died on the journey. They went and took all their land, put them on reservation. I'll take the Jesus approach. They don't know nothing about Jesus then. Jesus turned over the table, ran them out of the temples, and he even cussed them out. Ibrahim, I love your show. I sent you a message.
Yes, sir.
That's why this show is needed. It is needed so the people can hear. And they got all the different approaches or the different mindsets. And ain't nobody wrong, I'm going to say, just to not to offend feelings, but you got to reprogram your mind to think outside when they want you to act like this. So we're going to show them this. No, I'm going to show them who I really am. All day, every day. You're going to know. Don't step to me and don't think I'm not going to stand up for me. I never bow down. So I love you, man. Gotta go into this doctor's office, man. But y'all keep up the good work.
Hey,
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
love
you as
the
well.
Show. Love the day stop it.
Hey, appreciate you, man. To God be the glory, brother. Rico, we're gonna close it out with you, brother. What's on your heart?
Man, this thing to me is about nothing but right and wrong. Whether it was in the past or it's in the present. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and really and truly, who wants to stand by and say, well, oh well, it was wrong. We don't want to do nothing about it. Because the wrongs that was committed through American slavery, chattel slavery, created a very toxic atmosphere, created a condition. You know, sometimes we could be mentally institutionalized and ain't never been in prison.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the way that we think. So these conditions that were created, they were created by the United States of molesters. And the reason why I say they were the United States of molesters because most of the time a molester actually gets to his reward or his climax in a very immoral way. But the ends justify the means. So even though he knows it's wrong, he still succeeded in getting the pleasure that he wanted. So that's what happened with America. America said, well, you know what? This slavery thing brings us a lot of profits. Why? If we keep up at this rate, we'll be the most powerful and richest country on the planet. And it happened. The southern cane operators and cotton operators, the plantation owners became the richest people on the planet. Extreme profits. and they created a condition, but they lost their humanity because all of a sudden it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like fixing a car. You know, you can fix it completely or you can never rig it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that sooner or later, that dysfunctional thing that you went ahead and used to make it go ahead and keep being successful is going to break down. So America has been stuck trying to keep on repairing that breakdown so the system can keep succeeding. And we see how successful it is and we love it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that they don't want to admit and acknowledge how wrong it was. See, this thing is bigger than compensation. It's a condition in the atmosphere that needs to change. That's why Reconstruction was so important. It's bigger than compensation. Yeah, compensation is the distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will legitimately have great arguments on why you shouldn't just put that money out here in the community like this.
Yeah.
But how about creating an atmosphere where I can jog in the neighborhood and not be accused of something and get killed, and then the killers have the advantage and the privilege of the judicial system to let me stay on the street? How about creating those conditions? See, that's a part of it too. So when you start talking about reparations, it ain't just about compensation. It ain't just about money.
Yeah.
It's about a whole condition in the system that exists.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in the neighborhood right now, somebody asks, after a year of me walking, you think he casing the neighborhood? No, I'm just trying to stay in shape.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to live.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmaud Arbery died that same way. How about creating a condition, a new condition that will prosecute and give consequences to people that put you in prison for 44 years for stuff you didn't do?
Mm-hmm.
And the people that allowed it to happen and withheld evidence, all of that needs to be repaired. This whole thing. So it's bigger than money. Money is the small end of it. But anybody that can sit back on the outside looking in and know that that wrong was done and that it was never corrected. It's been corrected with everybody else. But when it comes to us, it was in the past. But guess what? That messed up car still running.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting us to where we're going, but it's polluting the earth, polluting our minds and our brains. And until we correct these wrongs, it's going to continue to be that in the same direction because it was successful.
Absolutely.
And who is going to stop moving in the wrong direction if somebody is getting to their goal?
Mm-hmm. And on that note, Rico, close out.
If you missed today's show and would like to hear it or see it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal, good deal. Now, Willa, are you there?
Amen. I'm there, and I'm saying amen to what Rico said. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're stuck and we need to move forward, do something better.
Absolutely.
Amen. I'm ready, Rusty.
Hey, the ball is in your court. You know what we do right now. You know what we're about to do. Go ahead and do it.
Amen. Amen. Let us go before the throne of grace this morning with confidence and with boldness. Father, we just thank you so much, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to be on the line together, Lord, to commune together, oh Lord. Even though we had differences of opinion, Lord, Father, we were still on one accord. We thank you so much for allowing us to get up this morning to see another day. In spite of what the enemy is trying to show us, Lord, Father, we know that you're going to get the victory, Lord. Father, you said it in your word to stand on your promises. And Father, we believe that. In the name of Jesus, we thank you and honor you, glorify you this morning. In Christ Jesus' name, amen. Amen and amen.
Amen. You got to say it like that. Amen. You got to say it like that. Listen, it's been a great broadcast, man. Hey, Rico.
Yo.
3 days in a row, 7 o'clock.
Oh, you got it right this morning.
Man, look here. 3 days in a row. On 3 days in a row.
That was up right there, man. That was up, man. I missed you. I missed you this morning, man. I swear I got up so late this morning, man. But I want to tell people, I got caught up in this document. Where's a docu-series called Betrayal of the Badge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about cops that turn on dirty cops and turn them in and go undercover to bust them. All the different situations were, and man, it's so good because those are the type of things that we wish we would see more cops do.
Yes.
So man, I was up till 3 o'clock this morning watching that, man. I woke up, I was like, man, I didn't realize how late it was, man. So yeah, I missed it this morning, man.
Yeah, man. It's 3 days. You gotta keep. Hey, we rolling the dice, man. We're getting sevens every time we roll, man. We're getting sevens every time we roll. Man, 3 days in a row. Gotta keep it going.
You got to, man. All you got to do is roll over and get out of bed and then just flop in the chair. Or go downstairs. You should be late.
See, there you go. See.
Hey, guys, what is the challenge? I'm a little lost. What exactly is the challenge? What are we doing?
Charles had challenged everybody to do what was it, 100 push-ups, and then he upped it to 300.
No, that was public.
Public. Yeah, public citizen.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 300 push-ups a day. Or you with it?
Okay, that's easy.
You got it, Curtis?
That's easy money.
Okay, well, I'm walking right. I'm walking right along with you. I'm walking right along with you, brother. I've been doing mine though. I do them in increments of 50 though. I do 50, 50, 50, 50 till I get to 300.
Hey, you pushed me, Raheem. I was sitting at 20 and 25. Now I went up to 35. I'm just going. I'm trying to get to that 50 in a row like you doing, so I can get to that 300 a lot quicker.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I just knock out 50. Then I get up. I do something. And if I'm looking at TV, see, I took your advice on that, Rico. I heard you say this. You saw somebody else do this. But if I'm looking at TV while the commercials come on, I knock out 50 while the commercials is on. And so I think I heard you say somebody else did that. You had a friend or somebody you said.
Yeah, I got that from Herschel Walker. I got it from Herschel Walker. That's where I picked it up from. I started doing the same thing.
Yeah, and so that's how I knock them out, man. When I'm looking at TV, by the time the show go off an hour, I don't pretty much got close to or right there where I need to be, and I'm good. But listen,
I just want to throw something out there real quick.
And Raheem.
Raheem, today is a holiday.
Did they? Oh, happy birthday, Willa! Happy birthday, girl!
Thank you,
Happy birthday, Willa! Happy birthday!
For anyone that's interested in the reparations bill, I posted it on Facebook and Twitch, and all you gotta do is click the link.
Absolutely. And Willa, I'm gonna say it one more time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And that's the best thing I can do.
You got to put that song. You got to put that song in your queue, Raheem, so you can strike it up.
Exactly. So when somebody comes, bam, and just let it go. Listen, we've been here for 3 hours and 11 minutes, so it's time for us to get out of here right now. Being 3 hours and 11 minutes, I've been rolling good, and I hope y'all appreciate the fact that I've been getting out of bed on time, boy. It's hard. So, and somebody told me, all you gotta do is get out of bed and roll down the steps or something, boy. I tell you, y'all don't realize how hard it is, but it's working. And I appreciate being here with you all. Now, it is now 10:14. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is 10:14. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Take care of each other. And please, if you don't mind, be blessed. Have a great day.